getting told I don't care about the wrestlers because I like Chris Benoit.
Just Daniel Bryan. I know we can't talk about it today, but we got to talk about that on the pod because I don't understand how anybody who cares about this dude wants to continue to risk his life. I don't get it.
Can I just interject real quick and say that I don't care about them that much, about any of them?
Oh, well, thank you.
Ooh, they're human beings. Ooh, no.
Ooh, but my life.
But my brain damage.
But my CTE.
Get out there and do some diamond headbutts and shut the hell up.
You get out there, pussy. You get out there. I don't care if you have an aneurysm after the match. You do your best, pal. Just be like
garbage.
John.
Hit my music.
Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
You are now listening to the SMC Wrestling Podcast with your boys, the Smart, Caleb Baldwin, the Mark, Carl Urban, and the Contrarian, Rance Morris. Believe in the pod.
Welcome to the very first edition of the brand new SMC Podcast. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Rance, aka Ray Cash. And we have this new hotness for you guys. We decided to do this podcast thing, and I think you're gonna like it. Before we get started, let me introduce the crew, who I'm with as always. Caleb, introduce yourself.
Hi there, guys. I am Caleb Baldwin. Now, the thing with this little podcast here, the SMC Wrestling Podcast, is there is an acronym to this. And it's not just 3 letters we threw together like a few jabronis. This is the SMC Podcast, as I had said. And the S, which represents me. No, it is not shitty. It is
Sometimes
Smart
it is.
Mark. Yes, to some people it might be shitty, but I am the Smart Mark of the group. And I want to kick it to a good friend of mine and our resident Mark, as it were. To say, sir.
What's up, guys? This is Carl Urban. I am the resident Mark. However, I will say about this, there are 3 letters, and Rance will give you his in a minute. We kind of branded ourselves a little bit here, but sometimes they can be interchangeable. Sometimes you're going to be like, okay, Smark over here is saying some shit that sounds more Markish. Mark's saying some stuff that sounds different. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a little bit of that. But at the end of the day, as the great Funaki would say, this podcast is number 1.
Indeed.
So yeah, I guess that sets me up to explain why I'm the C. The C stands for many
Cuck.
things in my world, but well, not that part. But that's Carl. But no, in my situation, I am known with my online persona as a contrarian. It's not true, but it's kind of stuck with me this long. I figured why not have fun with it. But as Carl alluded to, the beauty of our acronyms that we've given ourselves is that in any given time, in any given conversation, one of us will be one of the 3. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Before we get started, since this is our debut edition, I wanted to kind of get the thank yous out of the way so we can just give you this new hotness. But first and foremost, I want to give a huge thank you to Jeremy and Social Suplex. Thank you for having us. Thank you for giving us the platform to give this to you guys. Along with that, I want to thank my boy Rich, thank my boy James, our brother/sister podcast, One Nation Radio. If it wasn't for you guys, we might not have a place to host this. So thank you guys for all your support. Thank you for all the love. I also need to give a shout out to Lords of Pain, because if it wasn't for Lords of Pain, me and Carl and Caleb would not have met each other. Carl is currently a main page writer there. I pop in from time to time. I still write. And with Lords of Pain, thank you, Chad. If it wasn't for Chad Matthews, the doc, we wouldn't be doing this podcast. He was the one that initially gave us the idea. So I want to throw these thank yous out there. Just to let you guys know, hey, we are aware of what you've done for us and how you've helped us get to this point. and we are extremely appreciative. So thank you
Real-
guys.
I wanna add to that real quick. I wouldn't even know you guys. The first time I met you guys was at our meetup in Dallas before WrestleMania, which was
Absolutely.
arranged by Chad. So
Yes.
I owe Chad and Rich and Jeremy and James, I owe them a debt of gratitude. And also a little bit of an unsung hero in the Wrestling Squared Circle. Josh Smith, I believe he actually pitched the idea for us to be the Little Brother Show to One Nation Radio. So
That's
thank
what's up.
you, Josh Smith. We greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, and one more
Um,
thing I'm going to throw in real quick because I know we got to get started.
Right.
I just wanted to say that Caleb's absolutely right. We never would have met each other because even though Caleb knows of Lords of Pain, he's not as frequently active really as me and Rance have been over the years. And the cool thing about us all kind of meeting in this random way is we all kind of live in a general same area. We're centrally located. You
Yeah.
know, Caleb lives in Oklahoma. Rance lives in Texas. I live in Arkansas. We're all able to kind of, you know, plan things. Like if we want to go to a wrestling show, we're actually able to do it and get together as a group. So it kind of works out. It's kind of, you know, we had joked. So we've done a lot of practice doing this. But we had joked about being the Red State podcast at one point just because of because of where we are. You know, we're all kind of
Yeah.
centralized. So pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that made this happen. But hopefully, you know, we'll be able to give you guys some content that you can enjoy, and you know, you guys will keep coming back and tell your friends.
Before we start, two more quick shout outs. I want to shout out to Mike Fergus, at Sir Mike Fergus. He is our logo master extraordinaire. So yeah, anything you see, that any pictures or any logos you see from us, odds are he did it. And shout out to the official, not the official, but the I guess you could call him our official first fan. You know, our play family. Shout out to Rob Daniels. He's been with us from the very beginning. Where I'm from, loyalty is big. So the fact that these guys are so loyal to us, I needed to let you guys know how appreciative we are.
Yeah,
But that's
Rob,
enough of that
Rob
sappy
has
shit.
been up our ass about getting this done, so let's do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
we've been too damn sappy.
Yes.
Now it's time we got to get to some business. We had a hell of a week this past week, guys. This has been Summerslam weekend. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first non-WrestleMania weekend where they did all four in the same city. Used to be three, but now it's all four. We had Takeover, we had SummerSlam, we had Raw and SmackDown all at the Barclays. So this was a big week, man. A million things happened. Title changes galore. We had some call-ups, we had some returns. So normally we would talk about, you know, the big issues of the week, but so much happened. We kind of got to run down the shows. So let's say we start with Takeover. That's okay, gentlemen?
That works for me, yeah.
Yep, ready to go.
So I sincerely doubt Carl watched Takeover, but he'll give us his insight anyway.
You would be incorrect. I watched all of it.
Oh, did
Yes,
you?
I did.
Did you
I
now?
watched it all.
Yes, Carl did, and he was being an asshole the whole time on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That makes
I
sense.
was trolling. I was
That's
playing
Carl.
the heel on Twitter and shit.
No. You say you were playing the heel. You were just being an ass is what you're doing.
That's fair. That's fair.
So yeah, man. I think Takeover probably won the weekend
Absolutely.
because the quality of that show, and normally NXT normally, you know, shows they ass for the takeovers, especially the Barclays shows.
Mm.
But man, like the quality of this show, man, like it's not it. There was not only was it not a bad match, there wasn't a mediocre match. Like everything was really good to great. I mean, am I alone in that assessment?
No, you're not. But here's the thing, and just to be fair a little bit to SummerSlam,
Mhm.
the weekend is built around SummerSlam. Whether it's
Absolutely.
Takeover,
Yeah.
you know, the night before, Raw, SmackDown, the nights after. So the weekend is built around this mega show. And when you talk about Takeover, you're talking about a 2-hour show. Okay, SummerSlam runs with the pre-show. The pre-show alone was 2 hours. So SummerSlam runs
Mhm.
6 hours. Okay, they have, what was it, 13 matches ended up being total between the pre-show and the main card.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take-
Yeah, with the
take-
match was 13.
Yeah, Takeover has 5 matches. Okay, and I'm not saying that, you know, the WWE's main roster put on 5 tremendous matches of the same caliber that NXT did. I'm not saying that. However, 13 matches, people are going to get bogged down. You can't have winners with all 13, no matter what you do. So I think while TakeOver in quality was absolutely better, it's a little bit not necessarily easier, but it's not
It's skewed.
Yeah, it's hard, because TakeOver, they get these 5 matches and they have to be great, to get that kind of quality, I guess. So I guess that's kind of,
That's not true. See, I disagree with you there. I disagree with you at that point. To give full context, they taped the NXT for the next week on the hour before TakeOver. So actually, it was 8 matches taped that night to 13, first and foremost. But the difference between NXT and WWE right now, Raw and SmackDown, is that the storylines in NXT are extremely coherent and simple as fuck.
No,
They're simple.
Yeah, you're right. I've thought about that before. I mean, it literally runs the same formula from show to show. I mean, if you look at like the way they do it, they bring a guy in, and he's going to be the guy essentially that's going to be your next main eventer. And he wins and wins and wins and wins until he wins the NXT title.
Until the next guy comes.
And then he drops it, and then he moves on, and then the next guy comes and he does the same thing. It's very formulaic, simple, and I think that lends itself to making it a little bit easier for NXT to be written and to have better quality in the matches. They can worry more about the match than they have to worry about the story, if that makes sense.
I mean, think about it. Bobby Roode is the NXT champion. And he had the guy he has the most beef with wasn't on the card. Like, he doesn't have the most beef with Drew McIntyre.
Roddy
He
Strong.
has the most beef with Roddy Strong.
Yeah.
And Roddy Strong wasn't on the card. So yeah, it's a very simple formula. And then also NXT, Caleb can speak to this since he's our smart. It's the cool thing. It's cool to kind of hate the establishment that is WWE. And me being a WWE homer, I can openly admit that everything they do ain't great, and they make mistakes all the time. And they could do things probably better in the eyes of a lot of us fans. So sure, I get that. But NXT is a cool thing. Everybody goes, this isn't a secret now. It's been a week afterwards, but Adam Cole made his debut. Like, everybody had a feeling that was going to happen, So it's kind of the cool indie thing. It's like WWE's version of the indies.
Yeah, it is. Go ahead, Caleb.
Yes, I would agree with that. I actually saw this meme that kind of cracked me up by Ryan Satin, and it said, Triple H watches PWG once, and it's pictures of him with Red Dragon, Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, all of them, just hilarious stuff.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, like you guys had mentioned, NXT does follow a very simple method, and I believe as it has been taught, and I understand, WWE cannot. It's more than likely it is just an for them to be able to follow the KISS method. But the KISS method does work. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, it does.
And NXT is proof that the KISS method works. And guys, I think we've done enough preamble about TakeOver. Let's talk about this first match here, man. We had Johnny Gargano versus Andrade Cien Almas, along with...
Call him by his name, Caleb.
Yes, of course.
Call him by his name.
No disrespect intended, Mr. Almas. Accompanied by Zelina Vega, the very lovely Zelina Vega. Good for you, Austin Aries.
Yes, sir.
Was she
guys, what did you think of this match?
Was she always this hot in TNA?
I mean, I think she's always been pretty attractive, yeah.
We'll have to ask
she's always been. She's always been pretty.
Yeah, but we'd have to ask the fan who watches TNA.
Where they at?
The fan, just the fan. That's it. Nobody else.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it'll take us about 3 more podcasts to find that person. But I would argue this might have been the best match of the night.
Yeah.
I would agree. Yes.
It's a good argument. You'd have
Did
an
you
argument.
groan at me?
No, I'm not groaning.
Oh.
I'm
about to say.
I'm thinking about the card, and there's really only, to me, one other match you could argue. So that's probably, yeah, it's in the conversation, no doubt.
I'm curious what you think that other match is, because I have an opinion, and I think it might differ from everyone else. I don't know, or it could be the consensus. I'm not sure.
Well,
I do want to say this match was excellent, and Johnny Gargano has taken up that mantle, in my opinion, of being like maybe NXT's new Sami Zayn, and I'm
agree,
gonna love that, of course, but this match was awesome, and I loved the finish, I really did, because Gargano had it won, and then of all things, Tommaso Ciampa was not even in the building. He was not even in the area. And he somehow basically still cost Johnny Gargano a match at TakeOver.
Yeah, he did.
So, the ghost of Ciampa passed.
Yes, the ghost of Ciampa passed. I love that. So, I mean, I am excited for, that Ciampa and Gargano feud to pick back up. I think that injury was a blessing in disguise, rather, because obviously you don't want anyone to get hurt. But that being said, whenever this feud does pick back up, I don't know when Ciampa's going to be ready, but whenever it does pick back up, I am very excited to see that first match these guys have. Or the second, rather, because they won the Cruiserweight Classic last year.
Right. Man, 6 months is a long time. 6 to 9 months is a really long time to put a feud on ice. One that's that inherently personal. But they're two extremely talented and extremely creative people. So I'm sure they'll find a way to make it work fine. But yeah, man, I found it hilarious that a T-shirt threw him off enough to lose. But I think I've expressed to you guys, I am such an Andrade Cien Almas mark. As you guys know, in my foray to New Japan and these other feds and like really taking them seriously, I've become a bit of an LIJ fan. So if you're an LIJ fan, then you gotta appreciate LI and you gotta appreciate Andrade. And I think he's the most underrated worker in the NXT right now. Like everything he does in that ring is amazing, and his character work is amazing. The problem is his English is still so bad, but now they got him a mouthpiece. Like I wouldn't be surprised if you see Andrade have a NXT title match with Drew soon. Like, I mean, I realize it's not going to be a feud, but like he really is about to take off. And what you said about Johnny, I mean, just think about it. He was your hottest act normally should probably open the show. That's not a main eventer. And when he came out, that crowd lost their minds. He is so over. Like it's ridiculous how over he is, man. It's just they're just ready to print money with that dude. Just print it out.
Exactly. Yeah, he is like, if you want a blueprint for a babyface, for the longest time I thought it was Sami Zayn. If this reaction is any indication of, the babyfaceness, that's not a word I made up. That's a word I made up. Of Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
This is a blueprint of what a babyface should be. Because my God, he's small too, so it's easy to put sympathy on him, and he just adds to it, man.
Look, here's the deal. If they do it right, he's your Daniel Bryan. Fuck, I mean, no offense to Sammy, because because Daniel is the small guy that can wrestle his ass off, that got over with barely. I mean, most of the shit he got over with was a yes chant, and the fact that he's the underdog, and Johnny is a lot smaller than Sammy. Okay, Sammy's actually bigger than you might think. I mean, he's not huge, but he's a little bit bigger.
He's kind of tall, yeah.
He's like 6 foot. Yeah, he's like 6 foot.
Yeah. So with that, I mean, and here's the thing: you guys were talking about how they're gonna put a feud like that on ice with Gargano and Ciampa. They're doing it beautifully. I mean, just the idea, like you said, of the finish where you throw the shirt in the ring, the DIY shirt, it's perfect. It keeps.
It's only been a couple months though, Carl.
Well, I know that, but I mean, he's out? Till January is what I'm assuming.
Probably longer than that. He tore his ACL.
Shit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been torn for a while, if I recall. I mean, it's been a couple of. I mean,
it was. When did y'all go to the Money in the Bank?
I was in June.
So it was around June.
Okay. Well, okay. So right now it's been about 2 months so far. It depends. If Ciampa's one of those freaks, he could be back in six to nine. So you're talking about another 6 months, but there's ways to work around it, because especially with NXT, they do the 1 hour show, and it's only on the network. I think they put it on Hulu as well the day after.
Tape it once a month.
So you're not like force-fed NXT this long, you know what I mean? It's a little bit different, so I think they can manage it if they keep finding creative ways. They're going to have to get creative, of course, but I think it was a good start with what they did in this match. And you mentioned being a mark of Andrade, and yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I was, whatever about him up until Saturday. I knew he was talented.
Oh.
I knew he was talented, but he hasn't, his matches have been good, but it hasn't, to me, sometimes you just need the right tango partner. I'm not saying he can't work with anybody, because he can.
Sure.
But Johnny especially, it just seemed to click perfectly. The match was amazing, as Caleb said, when you said, this might have been the match of the night. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a bright future ahead for him. I don't watch a ton of NXT, so I don't see everything that goes on every week, so there may have been matches I've missed of him. But when I've seen him on takeovers, the random NXT, I've always thought he was good. But I thought he actually took it to another level, which may be, a testament to how great Gargano is. And maybe, he decided to, show out for this. It was a great match. I loved the hell out of it. And if what you say about Andrade is true with the English barrier there, the language barrier, the mouthpiece is perfect. So hopefully just great things from both guys as we move forward here.
And for the record, I think the difference between Daniel Bryan and Johnny Gargano is Bryan's offense is realistically can take down somebody bigger. When you are a submission specialist and a grappling specialist, and you kick with the fury that he does, realistically, you can take down somebody bigger. Johnny doesn't really do anything in his offense that you could say, oh man, this could take somebody bigger down single-handedly.
Right.
In a tag team situation, it works, but single-handedly, the lawn dart, he can't pick nobody up like that. You know what I mean? The little slingshot spear, cool, but not a lot of his offense is geared around cutting down the tree, so to speak. But yeah, that's the first match, dog.
Yeah.
That's the first
Let's
match.
talk. Hey guys, you want to talk about this second match? Because I was actually greatly surprised by this second match. I had very low expectations.
Of course you were.
I had very low
Of
expectations
course you were.
because here's the thing. One, I don't watch NXT TV on a weekly basis. I'm basically a takeover viewer. That being said, I'm not a big fan of Sanity, although I do like Eric Young and Killian Dane. So, maybe I am a big fan of Sanity. I don't know.
I'm about to say, you don't like one guy out of the four.
Yeah, I don't like Alexander
Really?
Wolf, but
And he's my favorite. He's my favorite.
Oh yeah, and I say that,
Contrarian.
but yes, he impressed me on Saturday, and really everyone
Wolfie
did.
went to work.
Everyone did.
Yes.
That being said, AOP, never really was a big fan of them either. I was very apathetic toward their title win, although I did do some thumbs down. So if you go back and you watch NXT TakeOver San Antonio, you'll see me in the background doing a thumbs down. That's awesome.
Well, because they beat your boys. So yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, I like DIY. That's true. But this ain't about them. They're not a team anymore. This is about the Authors of Pain and Sanity. And my God, I believe they outkicked their coverage here. I love this match. I love the presentation. I feel like maybe they knew there were some limits there, especially with this being basically heel versus heel, to my understanding. And
Well, yeah.
that being said, and I loved the fake out tag spot where Killian Dane
was awesome.
Killian Dane was on the rope, and then Eric Young just jumps on there. God, I love that. And this match,
It goes to the anarchist kind of feel.
yeah, exactly. This match as a whole, was amazing in my opinion. The finish with Occam or Razor, whichever one was on the outside, picking up Nikki Cross through the dive, and then Killian Dane doing the spear, and then you had your finish. I was shocked because I thought,
man.
surely, AOP, they're going to hold these titles for a while. Surely. And them losing into Sanity, I was kind of surprised. But you know what? That's not enough. Also what happened, and I'm going to let you guys talk. I know I've been...
Yeah, don't get to that yet. Don't get to that yet. Don't get to that
Okay,
yet.
yes.
Yeah, don't get to
All right,
that
so
yet.
yeah, I love the match. I'm done talking for now. I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Go ahead, Carl, because I got a whole bunch of love to throw at this match. Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, I'm not sure between the three of us who is the biggest fan of tag team wrestling, but I'm going to probably say, I'm just going to toot my horn and say it's probably me, because I love tag team wrestling. Okay, So, with that being said, AOP, Caleb, not a big fan then, when they won the titles, whatever. I love the idea of a huge tag team that just seems unstoppable. These two guys that are just monsters. And people don't like it because they can't do all the fancy shit that a lot of people can do in the ring. That doesn't bother me as a fan, I like, there's different styles when it comes to wrestling. So I'm cool with AOP. I like them a lot. They got Paul Ellering managing. I mean, they're awesome. I love them. Sanity, I don't hate the gimmick. It's cool for what it is. These gimmicks, these kind of weirdo gimmicks, don't do a lot for me personally. It's just a personal preference. But Eric Young is extremely talented. Killian Dane, Alexander Wolf, I love them. Nikki Cross is the shit. I mean, the group itself works. Okay. I was pleasantly surprised that Eric Young ended up being the other tag team partner. Because normally, it's Dane and Wolf. So in this instance, we thought we were going to get two Hosses versus two Hosses, and they threw us a curve. The match itself was entertaining as hell. You're talking about, and AOP can do more as a big Hoss tag team than they get a lot of credit for. A lot of people just see them as these big guys, but they do a lot of moves that work.
They work.
Yeah.
They work.
So
they put their working shoes on.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm completely impressed with them. The guys from Sanity were great. The Nikki Cross spot, that girl has got huge balls. Okay. And I don't mean that in a bad way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm all about it. The match was excellent. I wouldn't call it my match of the night. I wouldn't say it was as good as the match that came before it. I don't know if amazing is the word I would use, but I would definitely say, as a guy who doesn't watch a lot of NXT, I'm kind of like Caleb is with more of a takeover guy. You know what I mean? Thoroughly impressed. I've been impressed with AOP from the start. Sanity as well. Even though the gimmick itself isn't necessarily my preference, but regardless, match quality, these guys really put on a show. And I was surprised by the end result too, which I think was needed considering we all kind of thought certain things were going to happen. NXT, this takeover was a little bit different. It felt like they threw some swerves at us this time. But normally they don't always. We kind of have an idea of what's going to happen. So I was definitely impressed with that. So go ahead, Rance. I know you wanted to jump in and get your thoughts in.
So unlike you two, I watch every single episode of NXT. I am a very diehard NXT viewer. So while I didn't expect Eric Young to fake out, if you had watched the week before, Eric Young had been gone for whatever he was doing. In real life, I think he had some shit to do and missed a taping or two. But he had been gone, and Wolf and Killian Dane were kind of by themselves with Nikki. So Eric Young came back, tied, I think it was Razor, handcuffed him to the rail, and they double teamed everybody. And normally when you have a group of three, normally the tag team group they take one guy and then the singles guy takes the other guy. Eric was tagging with Wolf most of the time, which kind of made me think, okay, I'll see them tag together at some point. So it wasn't a shock to me. But I know I said Andrade and Johnny were the best match of the night, but this by far was my favorite match of the night because of all of the aspects involved. Both teams played perfectly to their storyline. AOP are these military-esque horses who just dominate, and Sanity is supposed to be this group of anarchists who loves chaos. And this was extremely chaotic, it was just a wild brawl. There was stuff everywhere, in and out of the ring. The Nikki Cross spot, good lord. But, excuse me, it was just amazing top to bottom. And to let you guys know why I love Alexander Wolf so much, I always tend to gravitate to people who don't seem to get the respect or love that they may need. And everybody thought that Wolf was just kind of an afterthought. But the thing that nobody wants to sit down and think about is what makes that group work from a wrestling standpoint is Wolf. Because Alexander Wolf is the insane part of Sanity. He's manic. He's just flailing around like that, and he's the guy that allows a guy like Killian Dane or a cerebral guy like Eric Young to look better because somebody got. There was one match they had a couple weeks ago on NXT. You guys don't watch, but where Alexander Wolf. I can't remember who they were fighting. God, I can't remember who it was. But Hideo and Cassius Ohno, and Wolf was about to get the go to sleep, and he tagged in Killian Dane, and Wolf willingly took the go to sleep to let Killian come in and destroy Hideo, and he's just laying in the corner laughing, half knocked out, because he knew that was gonna get the win. Like the little character work like that is why I think he's so important to the group. Absolutely fun match to watch. AOP can work. I can't wait till people stop acting like they can't. I can't wait till people stop disrespecting their talent because of their size. They have yet to have a bad match. I dare you to go back and watch every match they've wrestled and tell me one match is bad. They have wrestled. In fact, some would say the match of the year with versus DIY versus the Revival. And yeah, both of those teams were great, but AOP played their part just as much as anybody.
Well, that's what happens with matches. They take the big guys who supposedly can't work and they shit on them and say they were carried by everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's bullshit. But that's neither here nor there. That's another story for another day.
Well, that was
go ahead and talk about what happened after the match.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, first off, I want to talk about those dumbass helmets they wore. No, I wasn't a fan of those, but I don't want to spend too much time on them.
Part of the gimmick.
I thought they looked kind of silly, but that's whatever.
We're gonna start debating what people wear into the ring now. Okay.
I'm not hung up on that. I just wanted to kind of get some pot shots in there, but.
Those helmets look better than Sami Zayn's stupid little trucker hat.
Yeah, well, it's a flat hat, and the flat hat looks completely stupid. I'm not going to deny that. That being said, this isn't about Sami Zayn. This is about the fact that Sanity wins this match. They start to celebrate, and then all of a sudden, we see two vanilla midgets named Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly come in and just beat the shit out of Sanity, and they got some licks in on AOP as well, and they stood tall and they left the ring, and this was something to behold, and it was a precursor to something that would happen later, and I am I am very excited to see
First
where
of all,
this goes.
Caleb, you said they stood tall. You've seen them, right?
He called a vanilla midget.
Okay, just make sure.
To his credit,
they stood. Hey, pardon me. Let me rephrase that. They stood tall-ish.
Yeah, they stood as tall as they could.
They stood above.
They stood as tall as they could.
They stood above.
There you go. That's perfect. This was kind of okay. So, just full disclosure for everybody that's hearing this for the first time, Carl is not a huge follower of everything else. I try. Okay, I really do try, and I'll go to shows if I have the opportunity. I am mostly just a WWE guy because really. That's all I have most time for, to be honest with you. So if I'm going to use my time to watch something, I'm going to watch the best production value. Those are the things I'm interested in. So when these guys showed up, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I just thought, oh, cool, more new guys. And now it connected later in the evening and kind of following and talking to people that knew a little bit more about what was going on. So I don't have a ton of insight on this. So I'm just going to kick it over to Rance.
So I am similar to Carl in that I've never been a big viewer of anything other than WWE, anything other than a major national promotion. However, I do keep up with everything else. I'll watch a match here or there, or I'll read some results, or I'll get opinions from people that do watch it. So I never really watched a lot of Red Dragons matches, but I know who they are, and I have seen some of their matches individually. I was worried the way they debuted. They debuted two tapings apart from each other. First taping, Kyle O'Reilly debuted and wrestled Aleister Black. The next taping, Bobby Fish came and wrestled Aleister Black. I was scared they were going to try to make them singles guys, which to their credit, they're really good singles guys. I mean, Kyle O'Reilly was the Ring of Honor champ in January. Um, but they're so good as a tag team, and NXT, we know they need tag teams, credible ones at least. Um, but yeah, man, they just looked like $1,000,000. I mean, their finishers, the chasing the dragon, suplexed with the super kick, and they use a total elimination, which is the greatest tag team finisher of all time, in my opinion. Yeah, they did their thing, man. They made it look really good, and they set it up as Caleb set up perfectly for the foreshadowing later on in the night.
And real quick, I do want to say, when we reveal this to the people that already know about it, whatever, I have a name for the faction, and I want to let people know about it later.
I sense a joke
Uh-oh,
coming.
That's what we call the business a tease.
It's going to come in about an hour and a half, or Lord knows how long, but whatever. Or no, not an hour and a half.
Probably the way we're talking about these matches.
Shortly. Hey guys, that's that second match on the card, and 2 is always followed by 3, and in this case, the third match on the card was, as Rance had alluded to, basically a Pride kickboxing fight in a wrestling ring
Absolutely.
between
Yes.
Aleister Black and Hideo Itami, and I was impressed by this. I really was. I've been impressed by Aleister Black throughout his whole tenure in the WWE so far. Hideo Itami has been kind of underwhelming to me, but that being said, this match as a whole I was very impressed by this. This was not my other, contender for match of the night. I'll get to that later, but it was very good. I'm glad Aleister Black won. I believe he will be NXT champion by January. I think he will win it in Philadelphia at the TakeOver show. But you know what? That's neither here nor there. Really good match, and I'm going to let you guys talk about it.
Yeah.
Um,
Durance, you want to go, or does it matter to you?
it doesn't matter, man. It's up to you.
Okay. Well, I'll just jump in because this was the one match of the 5 that, while I enjoyed it, I would say when you rank them all, and this isn't even to say it was the worst. I just didn't have as much interest because it was between that and the main event, and the main event had the title on the line. So this match for me was, just see if it's good. And of course it was, because the 2 guys working are quality. But I was just thinking about this, and we can talk about it, and I don't know if you guys want to jump into this because I know it could probably be a debate. One thing that helped this match, I think, is the fact that Alistair's nose was bleeding pretty damn fast right into the match. So it showed the brutality. It showed the brutality. You know what I mean? But I got to thinking about this, and some other people have brought this to my attention. People talk about how, the WWE cares so much about the concussions and all this stuff, and they've tried to make a more conscious effort. And then they send these 2 guys out there to kick the living fuck out of each other in a match, which is essentially what they did the entire match. And don't get me wrong, it was awesome, but that's what they did. And it feels like, and I'm just curious what your thoughts are, because I'm not necessarily saying that I agree with it, because I mean, a lot of this stuff has worked, but I mean, at the same time, it just feels like we're giving off weird vibes with what we think is safe and what we think isn't. You know what I mean?
No, I gotta disagree with you there for this one reason. We'll talk about the match, but this isn't a WWE problem. New Japan has started this. This was a strong style match. This is a Japanese style match. This is par for the course in Japan. So if you think about it, everybody who NXT is signing recently has gotten famous from the Indies or Japan. Hideo was Mr. Japan. Aleister Black, Tommy End, did numerous tours in Japan. You know what I mean? So this is a style. But Kenny Omega eloquently says, because I got a problem with strong style in general, just because I think it takes away from the I think the work nature of pro wrestling, because the thing about pro wrestling is it's not supposed to be real, and this makes it look tremendously real. And then you got guys like Shibata, guys like Tommaso Hanma, or Tommaso, whatever his name is, Hanma, who have had life-threatening injuries this year wrestling strong style matches. But Kenny Omega said, man, when you know how to do it and you do it right, it's in some situations safer. So as long as that match doesn't become every match on the card, it's all right. And those two guys have been doing this long enough to know how to be safe.
Right. I was just thinking, like we said, Alistair gets his nose cracked instantly. So was he having a random nosebleed, or did he actually catch a shot? So I mean, we're talking about safety. I mean, we're still have to consider that, even though it wasn't like a kick to the temple. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like what if he took a flapjack and he landed
right
and his nose busted?
Sure.
It's the same deal.
But it's just something to think about, because I think we're talking about safety. A lot of these guys, obviously, I mean, they know what they're doing. They know what they're getting themselves into, which is why I've always been a little bit on the fence about banning moves in particular. That's just me, and we can always talk about that another time. But just my thoughts, in terms of that goes. The match itself, I talk a lot of shit about a certain wrestler, and I'm sure we'll get to him about some of the moves he does on the wrestling ring or lack thereof. And this was kind of that. However, it called for it. So I was fine with it. I thought the match was just fine. I enjoyed it. Wasn't my match of the night or anything, but it was good. And the right guy won. Itami has proven to be kind of unreliable. He's a little bit injury prone, and maybe he's just unlucky. But Alistair seems to be that guy that the slow build to where he's going to be at the top at some point. So worked out good.
Like you said, Carl, when you were explaining the formulaic version of NXT, you have a guy come in, gets built up, wrestles for the championship, wins it. He's the guy. Another guy comes in. Well, Drew just got to the title picture, and Aleister Black is just coming along, just chugging along, and is gaining so much steam. And every match, he has to show more and more and more. Every match, he's stretching more and more and more his personality, his character. And then a company, let me not say a company, WWE cares about you as a character when they give you a live band to perform your entrance. And Homeboy had the star treatment, came out, Cold Orange and the lead singer from Incendiary. Like, everything about the dude is a star. Like, he's going to be one of the guys who, if he's not main event WrestleMania, he's gonna be on the poster. Like, he is trending that way. And man, when he hits that Black Mass spin kick, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
When he hits it right, it's like my favorite MMA fighter of all time is Mirko Cro Cop because he's a kickboxer. I always found that discipline extremely fascinating. So man, I love dude. I mean, this was probably the weakest match of the night, but it was like 3.5 stars. So that's not saying it's weak. It's just saying it wasn't the best. And Matt Hideo is a good Hideo for wrestling purposes. But yeah, I enjoyed it. The brutality of it. I hate this notion that we think blood makes a match better, but I can't sit here and be ignorant and not say that it didn't make it feel more real, and it did.
Yeah, well, they needed that one for this especially. I think it was lucky, that the nose starts bleeding. It just felt like, man, they kind of got lucky there. You know what I mean? And it really, if you're trying to express the brutality of a match, they just kind of got lucky.
But it didn't need it. It didn't need it because the NXT crowd is probably the most knowledgeable crowd WWE show has. Right? It's extremely knowledgeable. They're indie fans. You see the Bullet Club shirts. They know, especially a Brooklyn NXT crowd.
Right.
Everybody knows all of Hideo's backstory and his history, and I'm sure that crowd knows all of Aleister Black's backstory and history. The crowd knew it was brutal. You don't need to bleed. I mean, just listen to the kicks. Like, they weren't even slapping their thighs. They were just kicking it hard.
Yeah. Wow. So, quite the match there, and quite the little rant there about blood. That being said, I don't really care about the whole blood spot. Like, for me, like, a match won't be hurt by blood necessarily, and it won't necessarily be enhanced, but in this case it was. Like, you're not going to hurt. What I'm saying is you're not going to hurt my feelings if match. That's whatever. Again, I thought this match was good. Like y'all had said, maybe the weakest on the card, but still good. Just because you're the worst among a crowd of greatness doesn't mean you're bad. And that being said, speaking of greatness, the card, and probably my other contender for match of the night was Asuka defending her NXT Women's Championship against Ember Moon. First of all, I want to say thank you to both Asuka and Ember Moon. This match was amazing. This is another match where the outcome very much surprised me, and honestly, 4 of the 5 matches, I was very surprised by the outcome. The only one that really didn't surprise me was that Aleister Black won. Now, that being said, yes, Ember Moon, she did hit the Eclipse in this one, right? Pardon me, it's been 6 days since I've seen the show. I believe that she did.
Yeah.
Okay. And, okay, now I remember it. And Asuka still kicking out. Holy crap. Pardon me. Wow. And Ember Moon tapping out to Asuka. I was a little let down because I was really hoping Ember Moon was going to win. But hey, still a great match. And as I said, my second favorite match of the show.
Yeah. Well, considering what happened to Asuka, whether it's a work or shoot, and I'm pretty sure it's a shoot, afterwards, or even during the match, apparently, if it's to be believed, it had to have been, I guess. It is almost a shame that Ember didn't win. However, I have been pushing in my own mind, and if I could speak to Vince McMahon or Triple H or whoever, I would be pushing this to not have Asuka lose, period. Unless it was to someone like Kairi Sane, who's coming up pretty soon, I would imagine. This was, to me, the match of the night. You said second. You said you had another contender, and we talked earlier about the opener. It's very arguable. This match, man, they just know how to do the women's matches in the NXT, don't they? Like,
yes.
We've got to give credit where it's due here. WWE tries, and sometimes they hit really well. And then sometimes we just lose interest. But with NXT, it seems like they always get it right with the women. And I'm so happy
We give them a chance to get it right.
That's true.
We give them a chance to get it right.
There's the old contrarian in there, making sure I get poked with his points. But that's
nothing you said is wrong. I'm just saying it's important to say.
Right.
We give them a chance.
Right. So here's the deal. Asuka is, to me, she's the best women's performer, period, in wrestling. I don't care. You can throw anybody out you want out there. Give me her. Just because everything she does feels real, and she's the kind of person that, in a way, she's that tweener character. Like, we love the shit out of Asuka. However, she has proven that sometimes she needs to do a little something to get the win. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes her great. This match, Ember, I've said before, she is so talented. And Rance, I know you really like her. She comes from ROW. That's your home city there.
She's family, yeah.
Yeah. So, and don't get me wrong, okay? And I want to preface this now. Ember is awesome. I love watching her work in the ring. I'm just not a huge fan of the gimmick. I think it needs to be tweaked. I don't think it fits her that well. It does fit her because she is kind of a nerd if you follow her on Twitter and stuff like that. I just think she kind of plays it weird, and that's okay. But as far as in the ring goes, awesome. This match to me was everything. Like, I was watching something else while watching TakeOver because I'm not the biggest NXT guy, but I'm sitting there, eyes glued to that match. Could not keep my eyes off of it because I kept thinking, Ember, surely, right? It's Asuka's time to go on up and be done with this. And they surprised me again. Like I said, this was the TakeOver full of surprises. You usually don't get a lot of that. And I got to say, I was so impressed with the match. Someone kicked out of the Eclipse, which was crazy. I loved it. I think that Ember's just only going to get better. and she's going to get that women's title eventually anyway. And Asuka, we'll talk about that later. So that's all I'm going to say about it. Go ahead, Rance.
So you said something I disagree with. You said that Asuka, she kind of switches her alignment based on the person. No, she doesn't. The only person Asuka has ever cheated for, has ever had to have to use any extra help for, was Ember. And I think that it was kind of it's kind of similar to the Neville Sami Zayn feud, if you will, because Neville could beat everybody. But when it came to Sami, he felt like he had to keep using these shortcuts because I want to keep my title. It goes to show that Asuka respects Ember more than anybody else because she knows they're basically on the same level, even though Asuka's better, and I'm an Ember fan. And the match kind of showed that. Both of their matches kind of showed that they are damn near equals.
Right.
But Jesus Christ, man, Asuka, have we ever seen a talent like her? Have we ever seen a women's talent who could legitimately be the best worker in the company? Not just the best worker in the division. Like her and AJ are close, man. Like, she is amazing.
I agree. Yeah, I think you could stick her on the main roster right now. And she's to me, she's a women's champion immediately, in my opinion. I mean, I don't even think you need to put any build behind her at all. I really don't.
Absolutely.
And I think you could just shoot her straight to the top, and she's going to be accepted instantly, just like AJ was. He came in, and he was pretty much, it took him a few months to win the title, but he came in essentially, and we knew, this guy is the guy. I think you could do that, and you could give Asuka the Finn Balor push tomorrow, and it's going to be fine. You know what I mean?
It's deserved.
Absolutely.
It'll be deserved more than Finn.
Absolutely.
More than Finn, it'll be deserved because they have set her up perfectly. So they've almost put themselves in a Goldberg situation in that she has to lose eventually, no doubt. But when she loses, if it's not the perfect situation, it's going to be a waste of 2 years, 3 years, however long it's been, because she has been built so flawless. Like, we shit on WWE so much, dog, but like, these people, they are building people. They're making mistakes, but like, look at Braun in the main roster and Asuka on NXT. She's been built perfectly.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
So basically what you're saying is, here in about 6 months or so, we should expect Scott Hall to hit her with the taser?
No. Well, if so, she's gonna fight Billie Kay, and Peyton's gonna hit her with the taser.
Yes.
And Billie Kay's gonna win.
I'm down. I'll mark out. I promise.
No, yeah, she definitely. Do you guys want to? Well, we'll mention that later on.
Yeah.
About the Oscar news of the week. But I don't know if her injury is a work or a shoot. I'm not sure. But if it's real and the injury isn't it's major news, but it doesn't affect the other news. She apparently broke her collarbone, her clavicle.
Right.
If she wrestled any part of that match with the broken collarbone, then I'm gonna cut my balls off and give them to her. Because
well, if you don't, she's gonna take him anyway if she won't.
Yes.
you're right. You're probably right about that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like I said, I don't know if it's work or shoot. I kind of lean towards shoot for reasons we can talk about later, but we should,
But before we move on,
me personally,
go ahead,
I do want to say, I think it's somewhere in between. I think there's a real injury in there. I think it's maybe not as serious as we are being told.
Like the Braun Strowman
I believe there is an
injury.
injury in there.
Yeah.
Would you say kind of like the
Yeah.
Braun Strowman thing where it was, oh, he's gonna be out for 8 months, but really he comes back 6 weeks later?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, cool.
But before we move on, because of how great this match was, I'm curious, what would you guys rate it if you had to do a star rating?
Caleb, go ahead.
If I could give this a star rating, I'd say 4 3/4.
Wow.
Good Lord, wow.
Okay. So if this was in Tokyo Dome, no doubt, 6 1/4.
It'd be 7.5 stars.
But
7 1/4.
Here's the deal. I don't really like star ratings, so I'm just gonna
Just give it a letter grade.
Yeah, it was a solid. It was an A. It was the best match of the night. In my opinion, I thought it was excellent. I wouldn't go as far to say it was a 5-star match. That's really hard. But 4 3/4, 4 1/4, it's not that far off.
4.5. Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah, I say 4.5, but yeah, I'm right there with you. 4 3/4 though. 4 3/4 is the reason I don't like the 6.5 6-star thing is because when you set a ranking system, you're setting the highest point to be the highest anybody could ever get. So when you're talking about 4 3/4 stars, you're talking about one of the greatest matches of all time.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was really good. Might be match of the year, but it's not one of the greatest matches of all time. It's not even bordering that territory.
I would agree. Just because NXT doesn't, it's hard to say any NXT takeover match in general is going to be the greatest of all time. Just because of that.
No, it's not.
I'm not.
Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate is one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life.
What's that?
Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate is one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life.
In my opinion, like with story, when I rank, I have to have story too. So like that match, the thing about Asuka and Ember is it does have the story, and it's very hard sometimes with NXT because the stories are so simple that the matches are amazing, but I won't always just put it to the 5-star edge because of the fact that the story can sometimes like it. That makes sense, and that's just me personally. Like I said, this is why I don't like star rankings because it's very arbitrary. It's based on, what we think is this. It doesn't necessarily make any of it
personal
fact.
preference. Yeah.
So, anyways.
Yeah.
So.
All right, Caleb. Man.
Wow.
Yeah. Go ahead.
4 matches down. What a show this was, too, like we had said. And it was capped off with, for me, probably my second least favorite of the night. But the main event of the glorious one, Bobby Roode, defending his NXT championship against one Drew McIntyre. From the hype package, I love this. The execution was pretty good, So, pretty good match there. Again, probably my second least favorite, but, still pretty good. I'm rambling, but I like the end result, and I like what happened after as well.
Yeah.
Although I do want to say, I wish Drew still used the Future Shock DDT. I know that Ambrose has that now, but still.
He used it. He used it in the match.
He did, but it's not his finish. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this about the match. So this match, in my opinion, in terms of work rate, was the worst of the night. That's not saying it was bad. Just when you got a card that's this stacked and this good, it's the worst. However, I would still rank it above the Hideo Alistair match, if that makes sense, simply because the title was on the line. Okay, so there was a lot more behind it. The Hideo Black feud was more of a blood feud in some ways. So the title was on the line. I will say this till I'm blue in the face. Okay, and you guys, I'm going to catch some heat maybe. I don't really give a shit. All right. Bobby Roode goes from glorious one with the entrance to sleepy one.
Don't do it, Carl.
I'm gonna do it.
Don't do it, Carl.
No. Bobby Roode
my God.
Like he plays the gimmick perfect. The glorious entrance is amazing, but we're so blinded that we forget that Bobby, he's good, but he is not. The word glorious is not a word I would actually use to define Bobby Roode when the bell rings.
No, Carl.
No.
Oh man, I want to argue this so bad. No, I don't actually.
No, Caleb.
Bobby Roode is only good in the ring. He's not bad. But I'm going to say this right now. If he did not have glorious domination as his theme, he would probably be like an opener in NXT right now.
Hold on, guys. If anybody's listening to this, I'm taking auditions for a new podcast host. Anybody hit me up?
Look, here's the thing, Rance. Everybody's probably going to agree with you, but I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you right now. Take away that fucking entrance. Bobby Roode has been like the benefactor of some of the best, almost, and even in TNA, almost. And we rarely say this about TNA, Bobby Roode has been the benefactor of some really great stories. Okay, his wrestling, and I'm telling you right now, his wrestling is good. Caleb said it. I'm not saying he's bad. Okay, and he's going to do just fine on SmackDown, whatever. He's going to do just fine on the main roster. However, damn it, Bobby Roode doesn't blow me away when I watch his matches. Okay, and that's just the way I feel about it. I think Drew McIntyre is head and shoulders a better performer than he is in the ring. Okay, the entrances, whatever. You can go however you want to do, showmanship, whatever. And they all play a factor. But when we're just talking about, ring work in general, Bobby Roode is good enough. He is not great. Okay? And that's just my...
If y'all could see my face right now, dog.
I can see it.
If y'all could just see my face right now, bro. Oh my Jesus.
Anyways, I'm glad the title is off of him. I'm perfect with Drew Mack. It works out fine. Bobby Roode was ready. Bobby Roode could have foregone NXT in general, just because of the experience and, all that jazz. So I'm cool with all that stuff. As far as the match goes, like I said, whatever about the match. The result's fine. Post-match was great. All that stuff. We'll talk about that. But go ahead, Rance. Get your shots in.
Oh, my God. Okay. I kind of need to reset myself here because I'm just astounded that this is what I expect this from Caleb. I expect this from him, not from you, for a myriad of reasons. But the two most pertinent reasons are, number one, you and I are probably two of the biggest gender supporters in the world right now, and we all know Jinder's not the best in-ring guy. But our excuse for him is he wrestles the perfect style for the type of matches he wrestles, right? Am I wrong?
Yes. No, you're right. Yeah.
Okay. Secondly, this, what you guys just said, goes into why part of my reputation is as a quote-unquote fan hater. Because if he was a face, then he would do different things. He is a heel. He's not supposed to be liked. He's not supposed to do cool moves.
Yeah, but how's that working out right now in NXT? Is he liked or is he disliked?
No. I think that's a hard question to answer because people love his music so much, but he gets booed.
Well, I don't know, man, because when we went to watch him in TakeOver...
You don't watch the shows. I do.
Whoa. Hold on now. Hold on. Okay, time out. When we went to TakeOver, when that match started, when the bell rang, it was a mixed
that's
match.
That's a pay-per-view.
Right, but you're saying he gets booed, but
yeah.
Come on now. Like, we're sitting here watching a match for the title between him and Shinsuke Nakamura in January, and there are dueling chants going on. You know what I mean?
He was at his highest then, remember?
Dueling chants, and guys, I want to say this. My whole section was divided for that match. Like, it was like...
No, you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you're wrong, but what I'm saying is have some context. He was at his hottest moment. He had just debuted, a few months before that?
Sure.
He was at his absolute hottest. Now he's been established. He's not only is he established, but he's openly kind of built his character on how he's better than everybody. I mean, like, if you watch the NXT shows, how he's treated Roddy Strong these past month or so.
Right.
The things he's done, like, he gets booed.
Right.
It's just people love his music.
People love him.
He's the first person.
That's the problem, though, isn't it? I mean, like, this is an NXT crowd, right? We talk all the time about how NXT crowds are the smart fans, So if you're playing him as a heel on the NXT crowd and he's still getting, even if it's 75-25, he's not getting booed out of the building. This isn't Roman Reigns shit.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
So the majority of fans,
Nobody gets booed out the building.
Right. But the majority of fans, in my opinion, on the NXT shows are on, they like Rude. He's the cool heel.
He just debuted on the main roster as a face. I know we weren't going to get there, but Carl brought it up already. Right. So I don't understand your point.
Well, my point is, you're making it seem like he should only wrestle these heel-style matches, and that's fine. But the reality of the matter is, you can call him a heel in kayfabe, I guess, but the crowd doesn't react to him as just a heel. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but if that was the case, then Roman would change the way he works. right?
Well, I don't think so. I just don't think Bobby Roode in terms of. I think Roman, because he is the big strong guy, his style is going to be power, whether face or heel. Anyway, that's how he's always kind of been.
Sure, but his moveset is popish, if you will. That's not a real word, but it's flashy.
Right.
Right?
I got you.
That's built to being a face.
I'm with you. I just don't.
If we're gonna, I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
you're fine. I was just gonna say I don't know that the comparison to Jinder works as well because Jinder, I would say Bobby Roode can wrestle a lot better than Jinder can. Like you said, you said that. So Jinder needs help to win matches. Bobby has not always necessarily needed help. He's been able to do most of it on his own. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not talking about the help style. I'm talking about the slow grading style.
Well, I mean, Bobby's kind of always been that way. I mean, even like, I mean, if you watch,
Exactly.
But I mean, he's playing a face on SmackDown. You know, the thing that kind of sucks about this argument is hard to make it because he moved to SmackDown and he's a completely different. You know, his alignment is different now, so it's a little bit different.
And he wrestled different. He wrestled completely different too.
He does a little bit. You know, it's not a full 360 or a 180 rather. You know,
he's had one match. He's still gonna have his core moves,
right?
But it's a different feel.
But what I'm saying is, I just don't think I've said this before. All these guys can wrestle. You know, we know this. This isn't a new thing. But what I'm saying is, Bobby, in terms of entertainment value in his matches, even face or heel, and all the times I've seen him, I've watched him in TNA when TNA was half decent. he doesn't blow me away. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's not capable, or he's not worthy, anything like that. Okay, so let's just not get it twisted. I don't want to get my words twisted.
I get that.
You know,
I get that. But what I feel is that, and this is an issue that me and Caleb have personally all the time.
Personally, yeah.
Yes. I feel like I feel like you guys are confusing his alignment with his talent. And I don't like Bobby because Bobby doesn't entertain me, or Bobby does. Well, that's what his job is to do. If Shinsuke's job was to go out there and do what Bobby does, Shinsuke wouldn't be loved like he is.
Right. But see,
that's the job.
Right. I understand your point, and we're getting into this deep. However, that's the great thing about this podcast, folks. I understand the reasoning. So let's not get that twisted. I've been watching a long time too. I understand the reasoning. What I'm saying is, Bobby and himself, it doesn't matter the alignment. Just has never necessarily really been. I watch his matches and I don't just get hyped for his matches. If that makes sense.
I guess, man.
You know what I'm saying? That's fine. It's different strokes for different folks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's all it is. I'm not saying you're.
Yeah, but you didn't start off that way. You start off by saying, well, Bobby, he may be glorious in entrance, but he's far from glory.
He is.
Like,
he's
you made it seem like Bobby's like garbage.
He hasn't proven to me otherwise that he's anything other than, pretty good. He's all right.
And sticking with that one statement, of course he hasn't, because he wasn't supposed to.
But I'm not.
He wasn't supposed to make you like him.
But I just went back and said I've seen him in other promotions when he was face and whether he was heel. He wasn't always a heel in TNA, right?
He was a heel most of his time.
He was, but when he was in Beer Money, they weren't always a heel team, before they broke up or whatever. So I've seen him. I mean, I'm not like uneducated on Bobby Roode. And that doesn't. I'm not trying to take away from the guy. There's lots of guys who wrestle like he does that I like, and I like Bobby. I just don't love his matches. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Well, go ahead, Caleb, man. I'm blown away.
Yeah, we've got our shots in on the whole Bobby Roode thing, and guys, let's move past it. Bobby Roode's not even our champion anymore. Drew McIntyre is our champion now, and he starts.
And you're gonna start hating him now. Watch, y'all gonna start hating him because he's gonna. Motherfucking fans.
And he starts to celebrate, and his celebration kind of gets cut short a little when Red Dragon comes out. And wow, that's crazy. What's Red Dragon doing out here? And then all of a sudden, there's this guy in a suit named Adam Cole that comes out here. Yes, Mr. Cole Bebe comes out here, and my God, that place just exploded. And did they love that super kick? They loved it, man. And the name for this team that I had teased you with, I am delivering now. They are Adam Cole and the Bebes.
Yeah. I saw you tweet that earlier.
Yeah, I'm down.
But I got a question for both of y'all. How long till we start hating Adam Cole? Because Adam Cole is a heel and starts doing this. How long till then?
You sound a little butthurt.
You do, pal. And here's the thing.
No, because
we weren't even like,
I'm sick of this notion.
we were okay. Here's the thing. We weren't even like, oh, Bobby Roode sucks and this, that, and the other, and he shouldn't wrestle. We said he was good.
Yeah.
No. You said he was good.
Oh, okay.
Listen back to the way Carl started the statement. When this comes out, listen to the way Carl started.
Okay.
He changed it. He changed as he talked. But when he started, he was coming off like Bobby Roode is trash.
No, the word trash come out of my mouth. We have
No. I said you were coming out like Bobby Roode was trash. I never said you said he was trash. We'll go back and listen to it when this debuts.
Not many.
FYI. All I said was he wasn't glorious. Damn it.
Carl
Okay.
doesn't think many things are trash. There's only one thing I know of that Carl thinks is trash, and that is Bret Hart versus Stone Cold at WrestleMania 13.
Yes.
Oh, I love you, Caleb.
Heat.
I know
Some
you do,
heat,
pal.
boys.
Some heat.
Oh god damn
Oh
it.
my
What
goodness.
a show, man.
Oh,
Guys, let's
bro,
letter
people
grade
gonna
the
hate
show.
us.
I'm giving it an A++, 105%. Awesome show.
Go ahead, Rance. Go ahead, bud.
The main event was good, but I just don't like Bobby and Drew's style. But with the Adam Cole reveal, that lifts it up a bit. So I'm gonna give it like a 98. It wasn't a perfect show, but it was damn perfect.
Okay. Yeah. It's hard to argue with your scores. To me, it's no B+ player, if you know what I'm saying. This is an A.
What's up, Daniel Bryan?
Yeah, this is an A show. Okay. I'm not gonna go A+ just because I'm an asshole and I want to be different from everybody. But it's an A show, man.
He wants to be a contrarian.
If you haven't watched,
Hey, job's taken, buddy.
if you haven't watched the show, you got to go back and check it out. You don't need a ton of context. If you just love quality wrestling, you're gonna get it. End of story.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Guys, that was one show this week. Let's talk about the second show this week. Let's talk about...
So we're going to have to kind of run through Summerslam pretty fast, bro, because we spent an hour on NXT.
Yes, we did. The second show of the week was SummerSlam, and it started off with a kickoff show, and it started off with a 6-man tag that nobody saw.
I saw it.
That nobody in Brooklyn saw.
That's
rather.
fair.
I didn't even see it.
And
I didn't even see it.
Miz and the Miztourage, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel versus the Hardys and Jason Jordan, Kurt Angle's son. So lots of second and third generation talent in this matchup. And my God, there's hardly anyone in there to see it. Barclays, WWE, you got to get your shit together next time. Carl, what did you think of this 6-man tag match, man?
Okay, so the match itself, let's just ball it up like a nice little piece of paper, and we're going to throw it in the trash can. Let's just talk about the only person who matters in this entire thing, and that is
Jason Jordan.
No, that is one Mike the Miz Mizanin, right?
Oh, two names.
Pew, pew, pew,
Right.
pew.
The Miz he continues to be the top heel in the company. He really just does, even in a situation where there's nobody in the arena, the Miz continues to be the Miz. He lives that world that he's in, that illustrious style, even if he's just shoving the belt in the social media. That's how good he is. I'm almost sad for him because of the fact that he was not really able, like nobody was there. You know what I mean? And I've said that before. I'm not going to get into WWE shortcomings. This is a huge card. I've always thought this about the Miz. I always think that the Miz, as good as he is, as good as he's been last year or so, over a year now, I guess, really, he should have been on the main card. And I understand why they didn't do certain things, and I'm not going to get into that. The Miz is, to me, the most valuable player on WWE Monday Night Raw. And we can talk about that at some point if you want to. I'm not going to do it right now. But to me, he's that show for a lot of different reasons. And I want to, like, to win this match, just the Miz is great. It's unfortunate that this went down the way it did. They got to figure something out. We've been through this before. We're going to live shows. Sometimes they have to get everybody in the building, especially these big shows. WrestleMania 32 was like trying to get into the building. You guys know.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna get on them too hard about it. These things happen. Okay. But they definitely need to figure out maybe something that will kind of streamline that process a little bit. I'm gonna say about it.
Rance, you got thoughts?
Pass.
Pass, Oh yeah, you didn't see this. I forgot about that.
Not only did I not see
Second-
this, but I think it's
Oh.
absolutely egregious that they would hold a match at the empty stadium.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't TNA. Cut that shit out. Come on now.
Like
It isn't The Rock and Mankind in an empty arena.
halftime heat.
The
Yeah.
Hardys, if the Hardys wanted to continue to wrestle in front of 100 people, they would still be in TNA right now.
Right,
And
like-
they're not.
Like I'd rather them scrap the match.
I could agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, because
Actually,
it's
yeah.
so.
Maybe
it's so
just do
disrespectful.
promos or some shit. Yeah.
I'm with you, Rance. You know what though? I wanted to talk about the Miz because to me he's so good, and it's shameful what happened.
It's a
Like
shame.
you said, they should have just scrapped the match.
Is it a
it
shameful
just
thing,
makes me,
lobster
like-
head?
Yes.
Too many limes.
Too many limes. Yep.
All right, let's move on then. Let's move. Keep it going. Keep this truck going.
Okay, guys. Second match of the pre-show. We had the cruiserweight champion Akira Tozawa defending against the challenger Neville.
That feels weird to say,
And
doesn't
in
it?
this, I know absolutely.
Yeah.
But
no
the
doubt.
good news is we didn't have to say it very long. Now that being said, this match was awesome. I still believe their Raw match was better, but that's neither here nor there. I don't get why you would break up a title, like a long title reign that Neville had. I mean, maybe they just want to get a moment on Raw or whatever.
Yeah.
But I would have rather either run with Tozawa or don't have Tozawa win the belt in the first place. That's all I really have to say about it. But the match was good, so I've got no complaints there.
Yeah. Match was good. Not as good as Raw, as you said. I would agree with that. I will say this though. I was kind of. I'm a big Neville guy. You guys know that. I was happy he won the title back. However, when I
You
think
wanted
about
to,
it,
you wanted him to move up, didn't you?
well, I did want him to move up, but now that after seeing his reaction on 205 Live when he lost the title, and how he was all like,
Yeah.
completely out of sorts, and his hair was all like
Messed up
or
matted
whatever.
and stuff. Yeah.
I wanted to see more of that. Like it was like they went from like the king to the depressed king, and I needed it in my life, if that
Oh.
makes sense. So like even though I'm happy he won the title back, I would have been perfectly fine because I'm a Tozawa fan as well, with him holding the title and Neville like on this like almost like for people out there who watch
He's
Game of
broken
Thrones,
Neville.
Broken Neville. If you watch Game of Thrones, he's the Mad King or whatever. Like that's those are the kind of things that they could have worked with, and it's okay, because Neville's amazing. But the match was okay, not as good as Raw because the moment for Tozawa was just so big. But we're back where we started, and that's okay. So
Yes. Rance, do you have thoughts on this, sir?
I guess you guys know, but full disclosure for the listeners, I didn't watch the pre-show. I didn't have the chance. I was in the car taking my kid home. But I think the right man won. Normally, I'm with you, Caleb. I think it's a waste of time to do a quick title change like that and change it right back. But in this case, as good as Neville's run had been, there was just this faintest hint of staleness, and it is completely rejuvenated with Tozawa winning and him getting it right back. And also, I think, we're not gonna, I sincerely doubt we're gonna really have a real conversation about 205 Live later. So I feel okay saying this bit of information before we get there. But Enzo Amore is now on 205 Live.
yes,
So,
no,
the realest guy,
Not
the
boo.
realest guy in the room. So I think
man,
I think that's the reason, part of the reason why they put it back on Neville. And I think it makes the whole Titus brand thing more interesting because remember, Tozawa didn't want to be a part of it. Then he won him over. Then Titus threw in the towel and he lost him. And then he got him back when he bought the hyperbolic chamber. And then they became a real cohesive unit. And he won the title. And now he lost the title and he lost the rematch. Where does that take the Titus brand? And that's interesting to me personally. But I have nothing to say about the match. They're two grade A performance. I'm sure it was great.
Yes, it was very good. It's Rance. If you have spare time through the weekend, it's worth a rewatch.
If I have spare
Or
time.
pardon me,
what the hell else am I going
worth
to
a
be doing?
watch.
I'm in Houston and a hurricane is coming right now. Got none of those.
He's gonna be
That's fair.
sitting. He's gonna be
That's
sitting on his
fair.
computer in his poncho. Okay, that's what he's gonna be doing the entire weekend. So
Hey, like I said, that second match on the pre-show was worth a watch. Also, the main event of the pre-show, and I'm going to call it the main event of the pre-show to give it proper respect that WWE did not give it by leaving it off the main card.
Disagree,
and
but
that
okay.
is when. Okay, whatever. That's whatever. We're not going to rehash that argument. We've been doing this for about an hour and a half now. The New Day defended the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against the Usos. And this match was amazing. 20 minutes of just amazing. These guys continue to usurp their previous efforts, and their matches just get better and better.
Oh, shit.
And by God, I need these guys to go inside Hell in a Cell. I need that in my life.
agree.
Caleb went to the dictionary.
I know, man. Like you wouldn't think being from Oklahoma, but
Caleb just used a 2-syllable word. He's getting smart.
Oh my God.
All right, so here's the deal, guys. This match was the hot opener. Period. I don't give a shit if it wasn't on the main card, as it were. That doesn't matter to me. The fans were in the building at this point. This was the hot opener. This got everybody going. The match was excellent. Because of course it was. Because the Usos and the New Day are the best two tag teams of the last 10 years.
Thank you, JBL. Thank you, JBL.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Maggle, right. That's the way it is. This was an excellent match. The right team won, damn it, because I am a mark, and the Usos are the shit. This was a great match, guys. I mean, it was really what we needed, and Caleb's completely right. They got to finish this in Hell in a Cell. I mean, they just have to. I mean, it just seems like the perfect way to finish this off. You know what I mean?
Pardon me, Carl. I don't mean to interrupt, but
you're fine.
There's not many feuds on SmackDown that have that blood feud feeling that to me is worthy of Hell in a Cell. And,
sure.
But this is one of them, in my opinion. This may be the only one because it looks like AJ Styles and Kevin Owens is done now. But that's whatever. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, I know, Rance, you didn't see it, so let me just throw one more thing in about this. These guys continue to impress, and there's rumor on the street here that I guess the New Day are in line to maybe break a bunch of tag team title records. So I would expect the titles to change hands at least one more time before it's all over with this feud, and it may be at Hell in a Cell. We'll just have to see. It's just rumor and innuendo, as other podcast guys would say. So we'll just see what happens there. But I'm fine with it. These guys could feud forever. It's very much like Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. Let them, and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Yes.
Fight forever. I don't care because it's always quality.
Yes. So that was the SummerSlam pre-show.
I don't even get a statement. I can't say shit.
Oh, okay. Pardon me, Rance. I didn't mean to cut you off, pal. You're the glue that holds this podcast together, after all. So, and that's not an insult either. This guy does so much for the pod. Thank you for that, Rance. Get your shit in.
I ain't had nothing to say. I just wanted to. No, I'm playing.
Son of a bitch.
I'm playing. These two should fight forever. I like to see it in Hell in a Cell. I think the New Day should eventually leave this feud with the champs as the champions because I think there's more they can do with the titles.
Yes.
Than the Usos can right now because they feud with everybody. But the only question I want to throw out here is if they do Hell in a Cell, is a third New Day member going to be in the cell or out the cell?
You'd have to leave them out of the cell.
So then, because I think if you pay attention, the New Day, since they've came to SmackDown and Kofi got healthy, like, remember, every New Day match back in the day was Kofi and Big E. Everyone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Xavier's been in a lot of these matches now, right?
Yeah.
Xavier won the titles at whatever pay-per-view that was. And Xavier lost, and he lost the titles. Well, Big E lost them, but do you think they might be trying to peg Xavier as possibly the weak link?
I don't know because Xavier won the titles for him last time, or at least, I mean.
Well, you know what I would say? Just kind of not to jump in on you, Caleb. I would say
Go ahead.
that maybe SmackDown. Obviously, we know the writing teams are maybe a little tweaked, right? Maybe they want to present Xavier as more of a guy that's is important. Also, like he's also kind of on Raw. He was kind of seemed like he was the guy who did the trombone, and that's fine because he's awesome at his yeah. But he's also really good.
Yeah.
You know, and like maybe it's an opportunity to say, hey, let's let Xavier do some shit too, because he's good. I mean, that shit to me, it's just an opportunity to let everybody get a little bit more shine in the ring. But maybe not, you know, right? It could be a lot of different things.
Vince hates black people, so of course that can't happen.
Oh, God.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Good point. Scrap everything I said, boys.
So Summerslam.
Wow. What a show. That was SummerSlam. See you guys. Have a good one. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so we had some pyro, and actually I do want to just throw it to something real quick that really cracked me up, because this isn't going to get any other love elsewhere. That fucking KFC commercial just cracked my shit up.
Okay, did you guys see the I put this out on Twitter. Someone had retweeted it. It was like, you know how people do like the conversation tweets where it's like such and such says this, such and such says that. There was a tweet that I put out, and a guy says, it's like, Vince, hey HBK, do you want to wrestle AJ Styles at WrestleMania? and then HBK says, I'm sleep. And then it says, Vince, you want to be the next Colonel Sanders on the KFC commercial?
And you see him stretching out to the ring.
Yeah, stretched out the muscles.
Oh my God.
The commercial was god awful because but it was so funny.
If they put it to a vote, like me being the douchebag that I am, I would vote for Colonel Lynch to happen, because wait,
stop. Colonel Lynch. Put that together.
Ooh, Colonel Becky Lynch, rather.
There you go. Okay.
There we go.
That would work.
There we go.
That would
Here's
Southern
Colonel.
They
should do Colonel Lynch because if they do Colonel Becky Lynch, they only have to pay her 70% of what they would have to pay Colonel.
That is a great point. That is a great point.
I see
wow,
what you did,
Carl. WWE's out. Hey, look. WWE is out here making budget cuts. You got to make those cuts where necessary. And if it means you got to have a female colonel, go ahead.
Next time on the Red State Podcast.
So, all jokes aside, people. So, okay. SummerSlam starts off with, the whole shebang of pyro or whatever. I don't know what the fuck happened. And it kicked off with a match that, I don't know about you guys, I certainly was not looking forward to it. It was John Cena versus Baron Corbin.
Barry Corbin?
And my God, this match was wow. Like, from the opening bell, it didn't feel like this felt like something of a burial of Baron Corbin, and maybe I'm just overreacting, but that's what it felt like, because John Cena from Jump Street was not taking this serious. There is a picture out there of him putting JBL's hat on in the middle of this match.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of offense in there at all either. Like, I mean, Baron Corbin, did the runaround lariat like twice, and then 10 minutes later, he tried to do it a third time, and he got caught just one, and he was done. And John Cena wins, LOL, as predicted. And, hey, not a fan of the match, but whatever. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it.
Well, there was no the idea that Baron got beat with 1AA this isn't new. John has beaten Baron before in the ring, singles match, one-on-one with 1AA.
Yeah.
So that part is whatever. We talked about this before, guys. You and I, we've all had this conversation. We had it on one of our pre-pods. We were a little concerned because there was rumor going around that Baron was in trouble, and we had talked about if Baron loses this match in short order, then maybe we're onto something with this whole the push is being dropped, right? So, and I believe I was the one who had said that, because I thought that Baron would probably lose, which doesn't surprise me, but I thought that maybe there might be like a post-match beatdown kind of thing. Didn't come to fruition. Now, granted, there was, SmackDown changed things a little bit, but at the time and at the moment of the match, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, Baron that push might have been killed. And if it has, I'm not going to lose my mind over it. I like Baron. A lot of people don't, and that's fine. But as far as the match goes, it was whatever. It was what I expected, So that's really all I'm going to say about it.
I'm never one to believe these internet stories about such and such is in the bad graces, such and such is getting buried, so on and so forth. But this one I might have to believe this, dog. Like, your boy done really got humbled recently. I like Baron. I think he has a lot of potential. I love his aggressiveness. I love his douchey attitude, if that's a thing. But yeah, John Cena just shit on him this whole match. And so if we're gonna go with rumors, and report these things like everybody else does, not only is there the rumor that he was in trouble for the Twitter shit, but apparently John Cena, rumor, went to the brass, Vince, Triple H, all these guys, and said Baron doesn't deserve the position right now.
Wow.
That's so.
I just want to. I want to throw in one thing. I know we've got a lot of matches to cover, but I want to throw this in because we had talked about this privately. It bothers me a little bit because if the Twitter thing is really what got him heat, it kind of gets on my nerves. And I understand maybe he said the wrong thing to the wrong guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the deal.
Don't fuck with Dave Meltzer.
It wasn't
not
Meltzer.
Even that.
It was the
no,
service
it's not
guy.
Meltzer.
No, it's
right.
something
It was
else,
the serviceman, and they're big on the tribute to the troops. But here's the one thing that I will say about this: if you're the WWE and they kind of allow these guys to be who they are on Twitter, very few of these guys stay in character on Twitter. I mean, there's Neville, he stays kind of being that king character, Kevin Owens, but a lot of these guys are pretty, hey, I'm AJ Styles, and here's a picture of me with Charlotte, and blah, 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 whatever.
Right.
So you kind of set some guys up for this. I mean, Baron is obviously an outspoken guy. We've heard this before, that he's the kind of guy that'll go straight to Vince and say something to him and be like, hey, he's not afraid to speak his mind. And so when you allow these guys this kind of leeway, these things are bound to happen. Now, the onus is still on them to be professional, but the era that we're in lends itself to these kinds of things happening. And some guys can get away with it and some can't, right? Because they've got the tenure, like a Randy Orton can sit there and go shit on the indie guys, and it really doesn't affect him that much because he's Randy Orton, But like that you've got to just, like, if you're a young guy like Baron who's just starting out here, he's been around for just a few years, and not even really that. I mean, in terms of WWE main roster, you have to kind of be careful, and I think it's a good lesson for Baron, honestly, because I think he's got a good future ahead of him, right? I think most of us would agree he's probably got a bright future if he chills out a little bit.
Yeah.
So
at this point, I'd say he's his own worst enemy.
Sure.
And I mean, and that's okay because he's hadn't been there long enough. He can learn from this. You know what I'm saying? But I just think that in a way, like in a small way, WWE, with the route they're going with these guys, their personalities and stuff, it lends itself to this. And you've got to kind of curb it a little bit if you don't want these guys to be saying certain things on social media. You got to make sure that everybody's educated on how they can use social media. And I know they do. But we got to make sure, you just got to continue to make sure if you got to monitor accounts or whatever it is, you just got to do it, because at the end of the day, you're still a business. So,
well, let me counter you, because I agree with what you're saying, but here's a counter. With all the leaks that they've had recently with Charlotte and Paige and so on and so forth, they've had numerous meetings, social media, and Baron goes out of his way to find people to beef with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure. Yeah.
For example, a guy like Roman. Roman gets so much hate on Twitter, but every now and then he'll say something back to somebody, but it's not like an everyday thing. Baron was going back every day with numerous people, having chains of arguments. Like,
Right.
well, maybe that's exaggeratory, but I mean, like he was responding to guys more than once. Like, at
Yeah.
some point, you have to understand, you are the professional in the situation, and they're the unprofessional, the fan. You can't let the fan get over on you the way you are. And then
I agree.
when you do that, and then you
He-
insult a military person,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah, that's
for no reason.
Yeah.
no. Yeah, I agree. I mean, trust me, we're on the same page. Obviously,
And-
like you said.
Man,
Go ahead.
like he looks so bad because like it feels like there's probably a lot of mixed opinions on Dave Meltzer, but he got owned by Dave Meltzer.
Yeah, Meltzer killed him. Meltzer killed him, dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Meltzer's not the guy you want to mess with anyway, because I mean Meltzer is our Adam Schefter, so you know even if he's not telling the truth, we believe him.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he has
some
That's
people do.
true.
Well, yeah.
I'm not the biggest Meltzer fan in the world, but we should probably keep going because we're only one match into SummerSlam. So
Yeah. Okay, so this following match was for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It featured Naomi defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Natalya, the lovely and talented Natalya. And my God, of all things, seriously, for a second, I do have to say, this match was awesome. It exceeded my expectations. I thought maybe it went a little long, but that's whatever. That being said, my God, I just loved the outcome of this. It's well deserved.
Boo!
And I am happy
Boo!
that Natalya is your SmackDown Women's Champion. She deserves this so much, and quite frankly,
Boo!
I would be all right with 4 more years.
Oh my
More
God.
years of Natalya as your SmackDown Women's Champion.
Hashtag
She is
cancel
Wow.
WWE Network.
So talented.
okay, so wow. All right, for those of you who don't know, Rance is going to let you know soon. So I'm
Oh,
just
very
gonna leave it at
quickly,
that.
yes.
That's all I'm going to say. He's going to let you know. And I'm going to ask him a question when it's all said and done based off the 4 more years thing. So let's just get into the match itself was just fine. And as a matter of fact, you guys, we talked about this before. I'm not the biggest fan of Naomi, right? I like her entrance and all that stuff. But in ring, I'm just kind of whatever about Naomi. However, boys and girls, listeners of the world, Naomi made a fan out of me at SummerSlam. She did, because she put on, with Natalya, a great match. I was highly impressed by the women in this match. Credit to Naomi, credit to Natalya. Of course, Natalya can wrestle anyways. That doesn't surprise me. But Naomi really showed me a lot of great things, and I was happy with that. So all the things that I've said about Naomi in the past, in terms of in the ring, she showed me she's capable of so much more. And that's great. So, no more hate there. RIP Light Bright title. Actually, not RIP. Thank God you are dead. Light Bright title.
I don't know you guys anymore. I really don't.
Yeah. However, I do agree with Caleb on one thing. I do think Natty, her personality and her character, it's always been kind of ho-hum. But one thing about Natty, she's reliable. And she is a good wrestler. And, I don't think she's going to be champion long. So the fact that she won the title doesn't bother me. So I'm happy for her. I think she's going to get a short run. I think it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be short-lived. I think it's either a vehicle for Becky or Charlotte at some point, maybe Carmella cash in, whatever. But just for her to get a little recognition is fine with me. It's been I think it's been 6 years since she's been a women's champion. And Rance is going to be like, well, that's there's a reason for that. But that's fine.
Okay.
She won the title, and I'm cool with that. It's not going to be long. The match was fine. The end.
Real quick, I do want to say, if I could be serious for a minute, Naomi, I loved that. Okay, Naomi sold defeat so well because Natalya grabs the title, looks down at Naomi, and Naomi is crying. And
Yeah.
for the first time I've ever seen a Naomi match, I felt sympathy for her. So kudos to them on that, and I actually would be hyped to see this match again, believe it or not. I was a little anxious going in, but I was impressed. Go ahead, Rance.
All right, look. I'm gonna make this fast. Congratulations to Natty Neidhart. You're the scourge of the earth. I dislike
Okay.
everything. I look, man. I don't. I know it comes off mean, and I don't like her. Nothing about her I like from a performer perspective or a personal perspective. Like, God bless her that she won a title. I'm happy for her. Good for you. I will say this to if I had to say something positive, my mama told me to say something nice.
There you
Um,
go.
the fact that she's only won one women's championship before this is egregious, given how long she's been there. Like Alicia Fox got a title run. Like, it's ridiculous. So for that, I give her credit.
I'm going to say this. Basically, if Natalia, with her skill set, had the glorious theme song, then
You shut
Rance would
So
love
the
her
next match,
because
guys.
of
The next match was what? What was it?
Man.
Big Cass and the Big Show in
Jesus
the
Christ.
shark cage match.
Ugh.
Enzo was in the shark
Ugh.
cage. What did you guys think about that match?
Shit. Pure shit. That's all I gotta say about it. It was shit. It was 10 minutes and 30 seconds, but as it turns out, it was 10 minutes too long.
Well,
That's all I have to say about it.
the part with Enzo taking his clothes off and putting some the lube on.
He was oiling up.
And then he had the wherewithal to put gloves on because you got lube in your hands. You can't grip. And then he slid
Yeah.
out, fell down, and got kicked in the face. That was entertaining.
What was
Here's
the
the-
point?
Here's the deal. The thing is, I guess it was entertaining, but it was pointless. Like, he got out of the
absolutely.
cage only to get kicked in the face again.
Yeah, but
I'm
when has
glad
Enzo done anything that makes sense? That's part of
Yeah.
the character. That's why Cass
I-
left him, right? Because he doesn't do things that make sense.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair. So we don't even have to spend any more time on this match. Fuck this
Yeah, keep
match.
it moving. Keep it moving.
Yeah,
Keep it
just
moving.
move. Let's just move to the
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
We're not
Cass's
gonna get to
knee.
the good stuff yet. Hey, pal. The next match was very short, and they could have taken the 10 minutes they gave to Big Cass and Big Show and given it to this match, in my opinion. That's Randy Orton versus Rusev. What a raw deal this was for
disagree.
Rusev, in my
I
opinion.
disagree.
Oh, okay. He disagrees, pal. You want
Disagree.
to know why he disagrees, pal? It's because he's heard rumor that Rusev is leaving the Evil
No.
Empire soon.
No, not at
and he's
all.
got to defend. I'm fucking with you, pal.
Oh.
I
you
said,
might be serious. Yeah.
like I said, I think Rusev got a raw deal here, but yeah, that's whatever. Rance or Carl, one of you two step in.
Let me jump in real
Go
quick.
ahead, Rance.
Let me jump in real quick. This was the perfect move because this was classic storytelling. Look at the whole match. Rusev was whipping that ass. Randy hit a lucky RKO and won. That's the whole story of the match. After 3 months of Randy getting his ass beat by Jinder, Randy had to look strong. And sometimes you need a heater like this to kind of get the crowd back in it and kind of reset everybody, because you had just sat through, I ain't gonna say 2 hours of the pre-show because nobody was there for the first, but sat through an hour of the pre-show. You sat through not three, but 2 shit matches. No, 3 because Natty was in it. 3 shit matches.
Ooh.
And then, now you see Randy come out, Rusev whoop his ass. And remember, again, I'm big on context. The entirety of this entire feud has been based on being attacked in your entrance. That's been the entire feud, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will
they
say
kept
this.
to it.
Go ahead. I will say this. Rance, you're absolutely right. The right guy won the match in terms of, the story and everything, or what little of a story it really is, But here's the thing. I just hate, and this is just me, okay? This is the smart in me, I guess. I don't know. I hate that it comes at the expense of Rusev. Once again, it's the same thing with the John Cena match. Like, Rusev is capable of a lot, and he's highly talented, and it just seems like they don't really want to go there with him. And that's okay. If that's their choice, it's their company, and I understand that. But just as a fan, someone who really enjoys Rusev and, all of that, it does kind of suck that it comes at the expense of him, you know, and maybe he's got some heat, whatever the case may be. I just, you know, I like Randy too, so it's kind of a bittersweet thing, you know. I mean, someone has to win. I think Randy was the right guy to win the match, but
I think
it's because it's Rusev, you know. I'm just kind of like,
yeah.
that sucks, you know?
I think it's really similar to Dolph in that he's so reliable that you know you want to put him in situations where you need him. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you could be too reliable. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
sure.
Like Dolph is
Yeah, no,
so
I get that.
reliable and Dolph bumps so well that I'm sure that it's almost a sense of, well, why would we push him and have him be successful when he does so great in defeat?
Right. I get that.
And that's kind of I think what Rusev is. But they clearly love the dude. They made him John Cena's first feud back. Rusev feuds with
Yeah.
nothing but top stars.
Right.
Like,
I mean, he's come back and feud with two of the biggest names
yeah.
ever
Like
in the WWE. So that's,
if Rusev goes to feuding with Ty Dillinger next week, I love you, Ty. What's up, man? Like, if feuds with him for like 3 months, then maybe we can talk. But Rusev is consistently out here getting primetime real estate on television.
he is. I think a lot of people just want to see him kind of get over the hump a little bit. And you're
And
right.
I do
Dolph
too.
Ziggler comparison is actually really great. You know, it's a good comparison.
Yeah, I want to
So-
see him do well too. But I mean, you have to again take things in context. We can't think so emotionally all the time. Take things in context. Like there's reasons for stuff. Like they didn't book him to lose that way because they're burying him. Like he dominated everything in that segment until a lucky RKO.
Well, okay, that may be the case. I think we've all kind of got our shit in on that match, and
Yeah, fuck that
we have
match.
been going along for a little bit. So let's go to our next match, which was for the Raw Women's Championship, when Alexa Bliss defended her championship against the boss, Sasha Banks. Pardon me with the disrespect on the misenunciation. That being said, this match was good. I actually believe the SmackDown Women's match was better, but you know that's neither here nor there. I thought this match was just fine. I am certainly glad that Sasha Banks is your new Raw Women's Champion, and I'm hoping we see good things from here. When do you guys want to take the mantle?
Yeah, I want to jump in because so here's the deal. I have been kind of like, I wish the whole Alexa thing was over. The problem is I don't really wish it was over to Sasha. So, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I really, and the Bayley injury is really kind of the problem. I think this was going to be Bayley's moment probably. Instead, it goes to Sasha, which is fine. Sasha's more than capable and more than worthy. In terms of merit, there's no issues with Sasha. Go ahead.
Also, real quick, Sasha Banks is also over. So
Yeah, she is.
Let's
Absolutely.
just throw that in there as well.
Yeah, no,
Alexa's
this-
over
this-
too.
Toronto did not chant "You suck" at Sasha Banks. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah,
That's fine.
That's fair.
That's fine. Yeah, that's all fine. The thing is, with Sasha, this is my first problem. Okay, dear God, she has. I mean, her and Charlotte, both of them, and I love Charlotte too. But they've been women's champ 4 times already. Jesus Christ. Okay, the belt ain't been around that long. All right, so let's just go there first. I'll stop there. But the thing is, with Sasha, I'm just ready for heel Sasha. You know, like she's talented, and I want what I really was hoping for, and maybe this is just because of Bayley, is the Bayley win, the Sasha heel turn, and it's almost starting to feel like Roman Reigns, right? Like we're waiting for Sasha to turn heel. We need Roman to turn heel.
She's already heel, pal. That's what I'll tell you.
Right. Well, in fairness, though, Sasha, I mean, she kind of, not to the same degree. I mean, you know what I mean? She's the boss or whatever. But that, like we've said a million times, the gimmick is tailor-made to be a heel. Roman's gimmick is tailor-made to be just, you know, he's Roman. You know, I'm Roman. Here I am. I'm the shit. You know, so it's heel face if you think he's cool. Sasha is cool, I guess, but it just feels like the Bayley thing threw a wrench in every plan. And if that's the case, I would have rather Alexa just retained. And that's just me. The match for what it was fine. I had no issues. I thought the SmackDown women were better. But the match was good. As a matter of fact, I thought because of how Naomi and Natty were placed in between the two matches that were kind of shitty, that I thought this match being good kind of set the tone for the rest of the show being a lot better. It started to improve starting with this match. So that was my take on that, which I think is a tribute to the women. And that's just where I'm at with that.
So, a couple thoughts. First and foremost, Alexa couldn't have won because that means she'd have to wrestle Nia, and she'd die. So that's one. Number two, I don't think Sasha's like Roman. I think Sasha's more like Dean Ambrose, and that we know if they let her be heel, if they let Dean Ambrose be heel, we know they'd be one of the best assets to the company. But for some reason, unfounded to me, they are still fucking over. Like Dean gets the biggest pop of the night still, and I don't know how. I don't get it. Not to say it's not great, it's just, character-wise.
Well, I could argue his overness over Sasha's, I think, but go ahead, that's fine.
No, well, man, woman, and I don't want to sound sexist.
Not even that, not even that. But go ahead, that's fine.
Yeah. And lastly, yes, Bayley threw a wrench in all of this, but I can't speak for anybody else, but I needed to see a closure to the Sasha Alexa feud because they have real heat. And they have not gotten a chance to really flesh out a real feud. They've had a pay-per-view match, but they haven't had a chance to really flesh out their feud to finalize it. I needed to see that personally, because they just seem to wrestle good matches together for some reason. But yeah, right person won. Hopefully this leads to something with Bayley, whether she changes or Sasha turns on her, which gets Bayley back her heat and some sympathy or whatever it is. But all I need to make sure is do not give that match away like they did with Charlotte and Bayley. Don't give it away until WrestleMania. Hold off. Hold your balls. Don't let that load go.
Rance, you're asking way too much is what you're doing right now.
Well, y'all asked for Gargano for that feud and Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa to wait for almost
Christ,
a year.
Rance, I'm just making a joke, and you're over here reading
man,
me the riot act.
You come at me with Natalya. Carl's over here hating on every black gimmick that comes out.
Ooh, actually, he loves the Usos.
Yeah, but they're Samoan, they're not black. And then you hate on Bobby Roode, and you sit here and expect for me to be jovial. Come on, man.
Yes.
My guard is up. My guard is up right now. I'm playing.
Man.
Hey, Carl doesn't hate black gimmicks. It's a joke I make with Carl. He doesn't hate them. All of them.
I'm not talking because I'm so angry that you just had to call me a racist.
Yes.
I didn't call you a racist. I called you a bigot. Big difference.
My goodness. You want to talk about gimmicks that people don't like?
Natalya.
Let's talk about this next match, man. We had Finn Balor versus
Here we
Bray
go
Wyatt.
again. Just add on to it.
My
God.
God. Look at these entrances. They're so awesome.
Oh,
Actually, I did like the use of the whole world in his hands prelude to the Finn Balor entrance, but
it was clever.
That's whatever. There was a lot of hey, Carl, guess what this match had a lot of? I'll tell you, pal. Kicks galore, I'm telling you. And man, was it something. I love me some kicks. Fuck your suplexes, fuck your DDTs. I like kicks.
Okay, first, Caleb.
Okay, so this match, well, I wasn't a fan. I want to say I was not a big fan of this match.
Surprising.
That is to be expected. That being said, I'm hoping this feud is over, and I think it might be. And yeah, this match certainly did happen. So, what do you guys have to add?
Okay, so this match happened, but I'm going to let Rance take it because, first of all, I am the resident Finn Balor detractor. So, Rance, go ahead, get your shit in, and then I'm going to bury someone.
All I want to say is, do y'all see what I got to go through, y'all? You see the shit I gotta go through? But I'm the fucking contrarian. You see the shit I gotta go through. The match was fine. It wasn't great. It did its job. Um, the Demon is a huge character for the company in terms of interest and in terms of merchandise. So to see it finally come back against its natural antithesis, uh, you know, it was pretty interesting. Bray is still an interesting character. It's just nothing to say means anything anymore. Um, but yeah, the things I found interesting was Finn's little character twerks in that normally when Bray does a spider walk or he hangs from the backwards from the turnbuckle, somebody gets scared or shocked, and the Demon was like, "Fuck that, what's up?" That was kind of interesting.
Oh
Kind of
yeah, I
cool.
agree. I have been waiting on that for a while.
Yeah.
Actually, one thing I'd really been hoping would happen, but I knew it kind of wouldn't because it's really unsafe to Bray Wyatt, is for him to do that little spider walk shit that he does, and for someone to like no sell it and like kick the shit out of his arm.
Well, or you know what? I don't know how that would happen. Maybe in a multi-man match, but if Finn hits him with the coup de grace as he's spider walking.
Yeah, that could
Oh.
work actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. No,
Oh,
it wouldn't.
shut
So here's the deal.
Oh
Ooh.
God.
Listen, here's the deal.
Oh my God.
Carl, hit us with that gospel. Tell us what's up.
Okay, first of all, preface this by saying, fuck this match. Okay. And you know what? I'm gonna harken back to something Rance said a minute ago. And Rance, this is not to argue with you. This is just kind of a point you made that I thought was interesting.
Sure.
You said you're not sure how guys like Sasha and Dean are still over. That's why we can't turn them heel, because they're still over. Yippee-doo. Finn Balor is so fucking over. And just like you can't understand why Dean and them are so over, oh my God, please, other than the Demon King, why is this guy over? He is his matches. I don't know who I hate worse, Bobby Roode or Finn Balor, okay?
Oh God.
Here's the deal. Honestly, the match was vintage Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt talks a bunch of shit. Bray Wyatt loses feud. This is nothing new. Finn Balor, I mean, he's over, so you've got to continue to put him in the position. I understand it from a business standpoint, okay? Doesn't mean I got to like Finn Balor. The match was ho-hum, and it's cute that you guys keep trying to find ways to make it seem like, ooh, this is kind of cool, and this is kind of cool. Yeah, because that's the only thing you can do to make this match remotely interesting. You've got to actually take a fine-tooth comb, like in Spaceballs, where they got the comb going through the desert. And he's like, I don't see shit. This is that is this match. It's garbage. Okay, we knew it was going to happen. The Demon King is a great entrance, don't get me wrong. Okay, but they blew it. Like, this is the kind of thing, to me, that the build was so ho-hum for something that could have been so much better given the two characters, right? The character that they'd given us. The match still would have been whatever. But in terms of story, I'm just like, oh, same old, par for the course.
But when have you ever liked the Bray Wyatt story, though? Be real.
Well, that's actually, I like the story with Randy Orton.
That's the last
I never
one.
shit on that story.
That's it.
Right, but that's recent though, right?
Yeah, but that's probably it.
Right, and you're right, and that's the thing is, it's just like they don't seem to have. Bray Wyatt is just there to be weird and then lose, and to me, that's just an inherent problem that they have with Bray. And I don't think Bray is all that like everybody thinks he is. I think he's another one of those victims of the amazing entrance. And to me, that's not the be all end all. You don't have to have a great entrance to be great. So offsides of that, the match is what it is. I'm ready to get to some good stuff because this match was what I expected. A match that Bray Wyatt lost. The end.
Yeah. Hey, Carl, real quick before we go on to the next one, you mentioned you don't have to have a great entrance to be great. There was 4 guys, and we're not going to get to this match yet because it was the closer. Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, Samoa Joe, and Roman Reigns. What do those guys do in their entrances?
What do they do in their entrances?
They just walk
They
out.
don't do shit.
They just walk out.
They walk out. That's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
sure.
And then what they do in between the ropes and around ringside tells you all you need to know about them. These four are basically the antithesis of Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor.
But
and
hold
that's
on.
all of,
But hold
oh
on.
God.
Everybody can't
Oh
walk.
God.
No, everybody can't walk out. Just walk out to the ring like that. You have to have
I
some
understand.
variety.
Okay,
I
that's
agree.
fair.
No, I'm with you, Rance. Listen, I'm not shitting on guys who have great entrances or guys who don't need to come out
He's just shitting
to a
on
great
Finn.
entrance.
You just
and
shitting on
go
Finn
on
and
work.
Bray.
Finn and Bray, and the thing is, guys, I like Bray a lot, and Finn, I know that it's there, but I just I've seen it before he came to the main roster. It just doesn't work for me, and that's just me. Like we've said before, and this will be a theme with me a lot because I'm very I'll like guys you love, and then I'll like guys you hate. It's different strokes for different folks. That's always going to be how I feel about a lot of these guys, and Finn is just one of those guys. I'm in the minority, and I understand that. So don't get me wrong. Before you come at me when I drop my Twitter handle later, come at me if you want to, but the reality of it is just it's a preference thing. So,
And then
no more
yeah.
Finn.
you don't need a great entrance to be great. But sometimes a great entrance makes you memorable. And sometimes being
Sure.
memorable is more important than being great in wrestling.
That's
The
fair,
thing-
yeah.
And that's the thing, just one more quick aside about this. This is what I love about a guy like Mark Calloway, The Undertaker. Great entrance, and when he got in between those ropes,
Well-
it was a show.
Not the first 10 years.
Sure.
Whoa,
Right, but-
10 years?
Well,
Jesus
What I'm-
Christ, dude.
What
Okay,
I'm
no,
saying is,
not the
though,
first 6. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
right. But you know what I'm saying, just the point, I think the points, I think I have a point it's just
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, right. Like it's
Basically, your
he
point is
had
fuck
it-
Finn
he-
Balor.
Yes.
No moves, just kicks. Hashtag
No
it.
moves, just kicks, pal. Yes.
Move on.
The
Move
thoughts
on.
of the thoughts
Yeah,
of
we're
Carl
moving
Urban
on.
does not reflect the thoughts of the SMC podcast as a whole.
It actually reflects the thoughts of the S and the M of the SMC podcast.
And both of y'all are
But
wrong.
hey, that's whatever.
Two-thirds.
Yes, two-thirds, pal. That's majority. Anyway, next match on the card. Let's. I think we're gonna get on the same page here. We had Cesaro and Sheamus, aka The Bar, defending their Raw Tag Team Championships against 2/3 of the Shield, or as I call them, Shield 0.67, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. And this match was awesome. I loved it. And you know what my favorite spot was, believe it or not? Cesaro leaves his corner, dives over the guardrail,
Beach
takes
ball
a beach
mania.
ball that some fucking idiot brought with him for some reason, because, I can't just watch wrestling. Anyway, Cesaro takes the beach ball and tears it up. As it should have been.
Well, hold on,
If you
guys.
bring a beach ball to a wrestling show, please leave. Don't do it. Come on.
Yeah, hold on, guys.
Ugh.
Go ahead, Caleb. Shoot on the beach ball for a second. Shoot on the beach ball.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna do it, pal. You know what? If you bring a beach ball to a wrestling show, and unless it is a WCW spring break show, no, it has no business being there. None whatsoever. And I question, and I know I'm going to come off like an elitist by saying this, I question your wrestling fanhood at this point. I really do. What's your problem?
So what's
Is
the
wrestling not enough for you?
So what's
Is
the
that it?
difference in bringing a beach ball to entertain yourself and chanting in the middle of matches that you don't like? What's the difference?
Well,
They both distract the show.
I mean, what chants are you referring to? Like,
I'm talking about chants that don't affect the
in
match.
What do you mean? Like,
We
like
are
JC?
awesome. Michael Cole,
Punk.
CM Punk.
Well, here's the thing. I always liked CM Punk as a performer, and I'm not going to disparage him for these chants existing. I am going to disparage the people that choose to chant his name,
Okay.
especially 3 years after he is gone.
I just want to see if
What's
you're consistent.
your problem?
I just want to see if you're
You
consistent.
wanted to see if I was, yeah, I get you, and I am, sir. Hey, you know what? Those of you that are chanting CM Punk at wrestling events, please do me a favor and instead chant for Sami Zayn. And then maybe he'll get on a show like SummerSlam one day. But
Okay.
I just want to say,
wow.
real quick, I love this match. I really did.
Yeah.
And I love the story it told. And I love that after Ambrose and Rollins won, they simultaneously did the fist bump together. That was awesome.
They practiced that in the
That's
back, I'm
really-
sure.
That's really all the thoughts I have on that.
Okay. So I'm going to say this about the beach ball. I don't have necessarily a problem with the beach ball. My problem with the beach ball is the fact that they brought the beach ball out at the worst time possible. This match was good. Why is the beach ball coming out now?
That's the issue,
You know
though.
what I mean?
That's the issue with fans, though, Carl.
Listen, I'm not here to shit on wrestling fans. Okay, I know you have your beef with wrestling fans, and I have it too, but not to the degree that you have, and I'm sure we'll cover that one day. But as we're trying to slog through this here, my deal is, and just in a general sense, for the most part, you pay your money, you go to the show. You being a distraction to other people who paid their money, that is a problem. Okay, so I'm 50-50 on the beach ball. I don't like it, but at the same time, if you had brought it out during Rusev and Randy Orton, as short as it was, I wouldn't have been like, you motherfuckers. And here's the problem. We get mad at the fans, right, for bringing these beach balls. But then you go look at WWE's Twitter account, and they're all like, oh, the beach ball can't be stopped. The beach ball is back. They promote this bullshit.
Yes.
So all they're doing is perpetuating the idea of bringing a beach ball to their show. So I don't feel sorry for them, for WWE. I feel sorry for the other fans that are there to enjoy. Okay,
Carl,
so I just want to make that clear. So, yeah, go ahead.
I do want to say before you jump in, I do want to say I agree with you. This was a problem that WWE has perpetuated, and they have perpetuated this problem, and it has expanded since Raw on April 8th,
well, here's
2013.
The problem.
2013.
I'm going to depart from you on this before you jump in, Rance, because that was also a year and a half ago, just about, okay? So we're not seeing this every week. What we're seeing it is at a big weekend. And so, like you had said at one point on Twitter that Brooklyn doesn't deserve SummerSlam. And that's not true, okay? But the thing is, like, it becomes a problem because they know they're going to be on television. We're going to get seen. But that really perpetuates itself because of that WWE 24 they did on the Monday night after Mania, where they were talking about the beach ball in the special, okay? And we're not even talking about the match. That's what makes me so mad about this. Fuck the beach ball, man. And Cesaro was absolutely justified in doing what he did, okay? Because the match was awesome. We're talking about 4 of the best workers in the company right now, okay? Period. Went out there and put on a show to rejuvenate a SummerSlam that had been kind of, slow. It hadn't been, nothing had stood out at that point that was like, and this was the match that started it. And it's just like, come on, guys. Like, if you're going to do this shit, why now? You know what I mean? Like, these guys are out there, and they're all busting their ass, but these guys are giving you what you came here for, and now you're doing it. And that's why I'm 50-50 on the beach ball. The match was great. Still think I would have liked to have seen Sheamus and Cesaro retain. They didn't. It's okay. The Shield thing is awesome. So, Shield 0.67.
Yes.
All the way.
Go ahead, I love it.
Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
The match was great. Cool. Let's talk about this beach ball some more. So first and foremost, if you have to say about something that if you're gonna do it, why do it now? You shouldn't do it in the first place. Like, I'm not with this. I'm not with this convenient dislike of things based on when it happens. Either it's wrong or it's right. So it shouldn't have happened at all. Number one. Number two. Sure, WWE deserves some culpability in this, but you have to understand this. You have to understand the predicament that they're put in. We complain that they don't listen to the fans all the time, right? And you go years of hijacking the shows with CM Punk chants and Michael Cole chants and JBL chants and We Are Awesome chants, right? That for them to not acknowledge a beach ball clear as fucking day in the shot would make them look stupid. So they had to acknowledge it. Now the real issue is, and I don't want to get into this because this is more of, I don't want to bog us down, with me and my issue with fandom in general. But the bigger issue is the entitlement that fans have that they are the show. And they're not there to watch the show or be a part of the show. They are the show. But the beach ball is ridiculous. It is disrespectful as humanly possible to fans. I mean, to other fans and to the performers. Like, if you don't respect the show, if you don't respect the company, then you shouldn't have went. But more important than that, if you don't respect the show or the company, at least respect the fucking people in the ring risking their lives to entertain your ass. Instead of sitting there throwing the fucking beach ball.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
Just
sir.
be honest with me. We'll
Of
talk
course.
about it. Okay. So you don't want the fans disrespecting the performers. How do you feel about when you go to any other event?
Mhm.
You go to, let's just say you go to a Jacksonville Jaguars game. God bless you if you do.
Mhm.
Okay. And Blake Bortles goes out there and goes, and you're a Jags fan, okay? And Blake Bortles goes out there and goes, oh, God, I don't know, 5 for 13 for 37 yards and 2 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown.
Right.
You paid your money, right?
Right.
And you're a fan. You're supporting that team and
Sure.
the product they put on the field.
Sure.
Do you think it's okay for them to boo? And how is that different than, say, what happened at a SummerSlam? So, and I'm not arguing with you. I just want you to give me a difference.
Booing and cheering is different because booing and cheering is what is expected in a show to happen. Not just in a wrestling show, but in sports. To use your analogy of the Jacksonville Jaguars game, what the analogy or the comparison to the beach ball would be throwing trash. Is that fair?
I think so. To some degree, yes. But with the trash, you're actually throwing it at the performers, right? You remember how it was with WCW.
Sure, but who's to say the beach ball doesn't get in the way in the ring?
Right, that's true. I can see that depending on where it's coming from in the crowd.
Right. The point is there's etiquette. There's etiquette when you go to a live event, right? There's a certain amount of etiquette, right? For example, even headbangers have etiquette, right? Like wherever show you go to, there's a level of etiquette you have for that particular show, and part of the etiquette for wrestling is you can cheer, you can boo, you can pretty much say what you want, but don't say nothing racist, don't say nothing misogynistic, and don't throw shit.
Okay, so with that said, then we have to kind of get over the fact that fans chant for other shit, right? I mean, with what you're saying there, if the fans decide, you know what, fuck this match, not interested in CM Punk.
Right, but now they have. I don't like it.
Right.
But they clearly are okay with it because, like you said, in the WWE 24 series, they did a whole show about the chants after WrestleMania.
Sure. Yeah.
So they're okay with it.
I agree.
They want that to happen.
And they're obviously okay with the beach ball as well, right? At this point.
Yeah, but there's a level.
They continue to talk about it.
Go ahead, man.
Or maybe they were forced to accept the beach ball because it just won't stop happening.
Absolutely.
Is that okay? And we're on the same page. Go ahead, Caleb. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, all right. Well, thanks. Now I can get a word in. Awesome. I do want to say one instance of a crowd like quote unquote hijacking a show that like I'm kind of okay with in concept is if they're okay. Well, personally, I would prefer if there's a match going on and you don't give a fuck about either of the two performers, and there is one particular performer, you would prefer to see, maybe, go ahead and chant for that guy if you want, but I would prefer, if you don't care about the match, fucking sit on your hands. Because literally nothing sends a better message about a match you don't care about than sitting on your hands.
Absolutely.
Because if you were not booing or cheering, if you were sitting there apathetic, I've done it before. I saw Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton in person, and for the most part, I didn't care. Pre-match, I did say, let out aloud, "You can't wrestle," at Jinder Mahal, but that was it. And Carl can vouch for this. For the most part, I was just sitting there the whole time. So yeah, like that's probably the best course of action. That's an aside, but whatever. All in all, I do want to say this match was awesome. We didn't get the chance to really talk about it enough, but
Because it wasn't
great.
the star.
It wasn't, and that's the damn shame of it all.
Absolutely.
Is the thing, like, come on, guys, you can do better. Damn it, Brooklyn.
If you're gonna have a problem with this, all I'm saying is have a problem with it every time, because I guarantee you, y'all didn't have a problem with it the next night when Finn wrestled Jason Jordan, because y'all don't like Finn, and that's bullshit to me.
Actually, I kind of did.
Okay, well, I appreciate your consistency. All I care, I'm serious. All that I need in these situations is consistency, because too often we as fans will accept it if it's this way, but if you tweak just like a corner of it, oh, we love it now. No, it's the same thing. So as long as you're consistent, I'm with you. Even though I disagree with you, I respect it because you're consistent. So thank you for being consistent.
Yeah, no
I'm
problem, pal.
I'm not going to be consistent. Because to be honest with you, if I was watching a Finn Balor match right now, I'd be throwing a fucking beach ball around. I'd be kicking it. I'd be kicking it in respect for Finn Balor. That's what I'd be doing.
Yes. The kicks are a tribute to Finn Balor.
Oh,
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so that was our 10th match on the card. 11 out of 13. We had AJ Styles defending his United States Championship against Kevin Owens, and your special ref was the money, Shane McMahon. So hey, this match was pretty good. In my opinion, probably the best match these guys have had this year. And yeah, so hey, finish was, to be expected. I thought the match was good. It got ample time. And yeah, let's see where they go from here.
Did you say it was? I'm sorry, I kind of lost you a little bit there. Did you say it was the best match of their feud?
Yeah.
Yes, the match.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Sorry. No, you're fine.
No, you're fine, pal. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so yeah, I will agree with that. It was the best match of the feud. It was kind of interesting. Like the funniest thing about the match was Shane, because he looks like he's about ready to have a heat stroke in the middle of the ring. If you look at him, like he's the referee shirt is so tight, and he's like so orange, like Luke Gallows.
Yeah.
And, like, he just looks like he's about to die in the ring. The match was fine. And it's crazy because this was the card where, like, I did my predictions on lordsofpain.net, holler at your boy. And I predicted like no title changes, right? And like up to this point, it was
Every
like
title.
all title changes. And I'm just like, oh my God, my predictions are garbage, right? And they're garbage anyway, which is good because I'm glad that WWE throws me for curves here and there. But I kind of think the end game is still at some point going to be Owens and Shane. And, maybe we'll get there at some point. Hell in a Cell is a possibility. However, the match, like you said, was pretty much what I expected from those guys, and what I've kind of wanted. If you know how special referee matches go, it's going to be gimmicky. There's going to be some ref bumps, whatever the case may be. But it kind of worked on both sides. There was a ref bump either way, so one guy got a slow count, the other guy got a slow count, or I'm sorry, AJ had Owens in the calf crusher, tapped out, ref didn't see it, those kind of things. So really, it told the story of the better man won, but Owens is still pissed because he felt like he got screwed because that's how Owens is. So I think it was a perfect end to that feud if it is the end, and it segues well into whatever Owens is doing with Shane next, if that's going to happen. I think everything kind of worked out well. That's really all I have to say about it. I mean, because the match itself was good, and there's not a whole lot of debate. The gimmicky stuff with the ref doesn't bother me that much like it does some other people. So y'all go ahead.
This is one of the best uses of a special referee stipulation I've ever seen, because everything about the match, everything about the feud had built to this. Numerous fluke wins, numerous ref mistakes, to the point where the only person that can settle it is a performer who can perform but isn't a full-time performer, is actually a member of the a member of the administration, if you will. And the beauty of it is, it was expected to have numerous ref bumps, and Shane took quite a few ref bumps. But the beauty of it was, he wasn't going to allow the ref bumps to stop him from making a final decision. And
Right.
they both got their ref bumps in. Shane had a little run there with both guys at certain points. Both guys had the match won at certain points, but finally, when it came down to it, Shane didn't take any BS from either guy. Shane stayed completely in the middle, unbiased, and AJ pinned Kevin Owens in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. In fact, there was so much finality to it. AJ hit him with the whatever it was, something, and then he
forearm, the flying forearm,
with the
yes.
phenomenal forearm, and then he picked his ass up, and then he put him under his legs for the Styles Clash position, and he looked at the crowd, and he was like, basically, he was telling them it's over, and it was completely 1, 2, 3 final. So yeah, man, I enjoyed it. Really good match. Great use of Shane. If Shane and Owens is really gonna happen next, I'm super excited for that. Because unlike a lot of the IWC, I love Shane. Shane always delivers. So I'm sure that'll be a really awesome match.
I think Shane's match with AJ kind of helped me turn around on Shane. Like, I'm not like chomping at the bit to see a Shane McMahon match, you know. But at the same time, like, if I see one on a poster, I'm not gonna be like, ugh, you know. So
it's a start. That's fair. That's a start.
Yeah. I will say this. That is probably the best special referee performance we have seen, probably since Triple H at SummerSlam 2013.
Agreed.
Because I will say this, and I mean, they were different stories. So, like, the Shane as a ref called for those bumps to happen, called for the ref to be visible. But the Daniel Bryan and John Cena one, Triple H was a special ref, but it didn't fucking feel like it. It felt like he was just another ref. It may as well have been, up until the pedigree after the match, it may as well have been Mike Chioda in there. Because that's what it felt like. But that was 4 years ago. And I think we've said our pieces about the U.S. title match. And
now it's time for the best match of the night.
That match 4 years ago was for the WWE Championship. And the next match we're going to cover is also for the WWE Championship when the modern day Maharaja Jinder Mahal defended the WWE Championship against the artist known as, I almost said formerly because the whole Prince thing, the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm not going to get into a tizzy about this. I only seen the match once. Wasn't a big fan. Finish kind of took me out of it quite a bit because it was messed up. But, hey, you know what, guys? I'm not going to harp on it because everything I could say about it I've heard. I think the experiments ran its course, but whatever. I want to hear what you guys have to say, so enlighten me.
Well, I'm gonna let, I know Rance will have a lot to say about this as well. So I'm going to jump in because I'll give Caleb probably more shit about Jinder Mahal than anybody else, including you, Rance.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let me just jump in. As a matter of fact, we talked about this before we actually debuted. We did a tester on this stuff, and I even admitted the experiment seems to have maybe run its course. However, it hasn't run its course to the fact where Shinsuke Nakamura should be your WWE champion. And I will stand by that.
Absolutely, I agree, yeah.
I will stand by that right now because I don't think that Shinsuke is the guy to drop the title or to take the title from Jinder. I just don't think it.
I think it's got to be an American.
Well, right, and I agree, and I will say this. I've said this before. I think a Shinsuke Nakamura WWE title win needs to be a closing match. And we kind of knew that this was not going to be the match that closed the night, right? We knew it was going to be the Fatal 4-Way. Brock is the guy. He's the draw. And even if it isn't closing, it needs to be like a co-main event of a WrestleMania. Because one,
he got to dance 15 minutes.
I don't think Nakamura, he's only been on the roster for a short time. I'm not a big fan of pushing guys to the championship that quickly. See Finn Balor.
Okay? Yes.
So, and, you know, there's merit to do it, but I don't believe in it that much, okay? That's just a personal thing. And two, Nakamura, and me and Rance have had this conversation, Nakamura hasn't exactly been the most impressive guy in ring since he came to the main roster.
Absolutely.
He's had one match where you're just like, yeah, that was the match that got him this chance
Carl?
at Jinder Mahal.
Carl,
Yes, sir.
I want to say I know you're rolling, and this is maybe a little bit of bias, so take it with a grain of salt. I think the best match Shinsuke Nakamura has had so far was his debut against Sami Zayn in April 2016.
No, we're talking about on the main roster.
You know that's
Talking about
what
the main
I
roster.
No.
continue what you were saying, sir.
We're not talking
You're
NXT.
right, Caleb. You're right. No, you're absolutely right. I'm talking about main roster, like Gordon
Yeah,
said.
I understand.
So since he's been on the main roster, it's been kind of ho-hum, except his entrance, once again, entrance doesn't make the guy, right? And so we're in the ring here, and, Jinder Mahal, no Jinder Mahal. We know how Jinder is in the ring, right? He's nothing special. But some guys he's wrestled in the ring are special. Dolph Ziggler is a great wrestler, and his matches were kind of whatever, So Shinsuke, he is ready in terms of who he is and where he's at with the crowd. But is he ready to carry that WWE title for a long time? I don't think so. And the smart move at this point is to keep that title on the guy that has it. And here's the thing. A lot of people hate it. They're done with the Jinder Mahal title run. And I get it. That's fine. I still like him. Whatever. However, we need the guy to take the guy that takes the title from him has to be somebody that we really are ready and believe in. And I'm telling you, right now, that guy, he's already on the SmackDown roster, but he already holds a championship.
Yes.
It's got to be AJ. He's the guy. That's just how I feel about it. The match itself was ho-hum, whatever. We know it wasn't good or great, whatever. The problem with the gender matches is the formula. It feels like an NXT, right? We know what's going to happen. The Singh brothers are going to interfere. It's the same match.
I want to say this, yes, we know there's a formula, but this, when your finishes are almost exactly the same every month, that's when shit gets tired.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
It gets tired. Well, hold on. Just before you jump in real quick, Rance, because I know what you're probably going to say. It gets tired, but as Rance has said before, this is the gimmick. Jinder is portrayed as one of the worst wrestlers on the roster. The only way he wins is with help. The only way, and he knows it. He cannot win without help. The end. He's what I would call like a faux champion. Okay, he doesn't deserve the title in kayfabe. He should be nowhere near it. He continues to get help to get to shortcuts. That's all it is. That's all he is. He is a guy who takes the easy way out and wins the title. It's really no different than a guy like The Miz. He takes a shortcut every match.
Yeah, I want to say, from what you're saying, I would like to see this, do this type of thing where, this guy shouldn't be champion, but do it with a face where, maybe, the heels got the clear advantage on him or whatever, and for some reason they decide, I'm going to pull this turnbuckle down, and then, 3 minutes later, they run into the turnbuckle.
Right.
And they lose the match, and you just run that for a couple months.
Yeah.
But whatever. That's
so.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of Santino's whole U.S. reign.
Yeah.
I'm ready for Rance to pull the guns out and
Yeah.
drop this knowledge on Caleb here, so we all know, because me and Rance agree on this kind of stuff. So
Absolutely.
Rance, go ahead, buddy.
with gender matches, it's almost to the point where the in-ring shit don't count anymore. It's all about the presentation. With everything. So yeah, I can understand fans being upset, especially UK look, with every major gender match ending the same way. But here's my question to you: Do you hate him more because of it? And the answer almost definitely is yes. And that means that the point is made and they're doing what they're supposed to do. Everything about yes, sir.
I want to say, as I said before, in June, I saw a Jinder Mahal match. My response was not, boo, boo. I didn't do that for 13 minutes. I literally sat in my chair.
No, you didn't. But
So
you hate this guy. You're right.
I am not the comparison you want to base your point
that's
off
bullshit.
of in
You're
this
the exact
case.
comparison because you hate the guy so much you won't even type his name on Twitter so he gets mentions. So don't come at me with that. You just sit there and make noise. That's how much you hate this guy. You hate this guy so much that we argue about him almost every day in some way. You hate this guy so much that you bring him up all the time just to bring him up because you can't stand him. Just because you're not making noise doesn't mean you still don't dislike the guy. You just don't choose. You have convinced yourself that he's not worth. Which in to your credit is probably the way you should go about it if you really dislike somebody. But you try to convince yourself that what you're doing is helping get him depushed. Oh well, I'm not gonna type his name. I'm gonna change the I to a one
Yes.
and the E to a 3.
Yes.
Well, you know what?
Yes.
You're still talking about him, and what he's doing is still affecting you, and you still dislike the things that he's doing. So you're still playing into the story. Carl said it perfectly. Everybody, including Gender, knows he's the worst guy. I'm not gonna say he's the worst guy on the roster, but he's one of the worst in-ring talents on the roster. It's the whole package. That's why that's the beauty of he walks around like he's, God's gift to India. But we know what's really happening. I mean, watch SmackDown when Daniel Bryan said the Singh brothers had to wrestle Shinsuke together. They were terrified because they know Shinsuke's better. But the story is that Jinder keeps sneaking by, and eventually he's going to run into somebody he can't sneak by. I don't think Shinsuke's the guy right now because, I'm going to be honest with you, I love Shinsuke. I'm bored with him right now. I'm bored with him. And you know what? WWE deserves some blame for that, but so does Shinsuke. Because I explained this in one of our other podcasts we did, one of our testers. Shinsuke doesn't look very motivated at all.
Yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura has Randy Orton syndrome. That's for sure.
So
yeah, it's like he's getting he's like waiting for the big match,
Yes.
So
Yeah.
why would you reward that guy? And you're gonna hate me saying this, Caleb, but I understand Shinsuke is a legend in Japan. He's been wrestling for however many years. But you're new to the company. You can't come into the company with that kind of mindset. Randy's been there for 15 years. So while it's not right for him to have it either, I can accept a guy who's been here this long and fought these wars with me to be in this mindset every now and then than a guy that just walk in my company and feel entitled. I'm only gonna perform this way and give my all when it's a big match. Man, you go fuck yourself.
No, I
care how good you
understand. I don't really I can't accept I'm just going to phone this one in mindset really from anyone because
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Well, at the end of the day,
I
I mean,
respect the performers.
Here's the
but
thing. Like you said, you're a performer, right? And
Yeah.
people are paying money at the gate to come see you, and you can't give them a shitty show just because you're not happy with whatever the case may be, right? So we are, for once, guys, on the SMC podcast, episode number 1, we are in 100% agreement that you cannot phone this shit in.
And I want to add something to that real quick. To me, I can't speak for anybody else. To me, Shinsuke is becoming nothing more than a glorified entrance, kind of like how you guys look at Finn. But here's the difference between Shinsuke and Finn. Shinsuke does the same entrance every time. Finn's demon is something special that you wait for. He brings out in special moments, right? Shinsuke got the same entrance every night. If that's the best part of his act right now, what's the point? So yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I would agree with that. The only thing I would say is, I got to watch 100 shitty Finn Balor entrances before I get to see the Demon King once. At least I get to see Shinsuke's awesome entrance every week.
Yeah, but
you get to see it once a week. So.
But it's not awesome if you see it every week.
It still is.
No, it's not. I'm bored of it.
I'm not over the entrance yet. I'm over, the laziness or the complacency in the ring. For sure, I'm not over the entrance yet.
I'm over the entrance.
What's that?
I'm over the entrance.
Like that's fine. I can understand it. Yeah, I can understand it.
But yeah, Shinsuke he really has to figure out, man, is this really what I want to do? Because I know he likes the company, I know he enjoys the business, but everything's not just handed to you, man. If nothing else, Jinder Mahal is proof that anything can happen in the company at any time.
Absolutely. And here's the thing about Jinder, okay? And we've said this before. and Caleb will even admit to this, right? Jinder is taking the opportunity that he's given and has tried to make the best of it.
He has hit
Regardless of
as
what
hard as he could. Yes.
anybody thinks about him, he takes it seriously, right? Like you can tell that he really cares about the opportunity that he's been given. And that matters, just caring about what you've been given, even if you are not the best at what you do, caring goes a long way. So
Yeah.
that's something to think about. That's something to think
Yeah.
about.
Absolutely. So I think we've spent enough time on Jinder Mahal.
We can go another 30 minutes on
talk about-
Jinder if you want.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Let's finish up SummerSlam. Hey, match of the night, in my humble opinion. The Fatal 4-Way for the Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar defended his championship against Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, and the monster among men, Braun Strowman. What a match this was, guys. I loved it from bell to bell. Hell, I loved it from entrance to Brock leaving ringside with the title. I loved the whole presentation of this. Everyone was over, as was to be expected. And Braun Strowman looked like $1 million, even though he didn't win the title.
Yeah,
we know where they're going with this, and I hope this ends soon with Braun Strowman as champion. I don't see it happening, but I hope that's what happens. But enough about the future. Let's continue talking about this. I loved it.
If it was up to y'all, Braun wouldn't even be in the company anymore.
Well, first off, you are basing a reaction of mine from 2015.
Yep.
From 2 years ago, pal.
I sure am.
Guess what? Opinions change. Okay? That's what happens.
But you got to give people a chance. This is the perfect excuse to say give somebody a chance. Braun has gotten a chance, and he's the best character on the roster.
Yes, Braun Strowman has knocked things out of the park since the Sami Zayn feud. So I'm being real. I'm being real.
When he was beating up the jobbers, he was killing it. But go ahead. He got James Ellsworth a job by beating him up. Go ahead, Carl.
Rance, I want you to actually take this one, and I'm going to jump in because I've got some things on this one. So go ahead. Opinions first.
Best match of the night by far. Braun is an amazing human being. The things that he does, and more importantly, the way everybody allows him to make him a star. Roman has allowed himself, and I know it's the company and all that. I'm not stupid to think that, but Roman has done everything in his power to let Braun become a star. Brock has never let anybody dominate him the way he's let them dominate him. And like, it just goes to show how much people love that dude. But he is killing it. He's amazing right now. Brock was amazing. Brock has in these two matches, Brock has sold more in the Joe match and in this Fatal 4-Way match than I think he sold the entire time since he came back to the company. In 2 matches.
Yes. Rance, before you finish up, I do want to say this. Braun Strowman is our generation's Bam Bam Bigelow. And that's praise coming from me because I've always liked Bam Bam Bigelow. I even prefer Bam Bam Bigelow to Vader. So just throwing that out there.
Well, I was gonna Bam Bam Vader, one of the two, but anyway, fact of the matter is, there's nobody like him. And when you are in this kind of business, and there's nobody like you, you got money for the rest of your career.
Yes, you have equity.
Yeah, there's nobody like Braun right now. In ring, out the ring, character-wise, nobody. But Joe killed it. Joe was kind of secretly the glue that held the match together. Roman always kills it. I mean, Roman always gives quality. The best part about the match is the part that nobody's talking about. Roman lost again.
Yeah.
Roman continues to keep losing. Clean, mind you. Clean. But he continues to keep losing in big moments and then continues to act like nothing's ever happening. Something's he comes back the next night like,
No,
oh,
yeah,
well, I'm
the
a big dog.
problem, yeah, he would have a lot more. I feel like he would maybe have a lot more sympathy on him if he acted like these losses actually affected him.
He's not
But,
supposed to have
that's neither here nor
sympathy.
there.
He's not playing a face right now.
Well, he's
Maybe-
not playing
Yeah.
he's not playing a full-blown heel either, because if he was, it would be acknowledged by commentary. It wouldn't be like on Sunday when he comes out, Booker T says, "This man is hated," and then Corey Graves is like, "No, he's not hated. He's just controversial." He wouldn't be corrected like that if he was a full-blown heel.
Here's the deal, guys. Because I want to jump in on this match, and I'm just going to jump in this little argument you're having right here. There is a thing in wrestling. It's called a tweener act. Okay.
No, it's not, Carl. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
right. And listen, and here's the thing. My favorite wrestler of all time was a tweener act, guys. That's what he was. He was cool. But he was kind of a dick. Like that's just what he was. His name is Scott Hall. If this is your first time listening, okay?
The greatest
That's
wrestler of
what-
all, the most popular wrestler of all time was a tweener. Stone Cold
Here's the
was a
thing.
tweener.
That's what Roman reminds me of, okay? And I don't even want to go any further with that because good Lord knows we could do a whole podcast on Roman Reigns. Right?
Okay, that's fine. But please don't tell me Roman Reigns is a heel if he's not a heel. I can
didn't say
accept that Roman Reigns is okay. I can accept that Roman Reigns is a tweener. I have no
Right.
problem
All I
accepting that.
said was he's not a face. That's all I
Right.
said.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I agree. I wouldn't say he was a heel. I wouldn't say he was a face. I think tweener is where he's at. But forget all that for a second. Let's just talk about Braun Strowman. You guys were
Yes.
talking about how if you have that one thing that is unlike anyone else, right, that you have money for the rest of your career. You know who Braun Strowman is to me when I watch him? He's not as big. He's not as powerful. But you know who he is to me? He's Andre the Giant. He is the Andre the Giant
bro.
and what I mean by that is
Nah.
no one is like him. I'm not saying he's gonna be in The Princess Bride, all right? But what I'm
No.
saying is he's unlike anyone else. There's nobody like Braun. And here's the deal. You made a good point that people continue to sell for Braun. You know why people continue to sell for Braun? Because I truly believe that Braun is the future of the WWE. I don't think
I
it's
agree.
Roman Reigns anymore.
It's
Okay,
both. It's
I
both
think
of
Roman
them,
is.
but okay.
I think Roman is in that conversation, but I think the WWE has realized that this is the guy, right, that could be our money train for the future. I think it's Braun, and he hasn't won the title yet, but he came across as the star at SummerSlam, and Brock knows it because Brock is in there selling for him. Roman knows it because Roman's been selling for his ass. And guess what? Even Samoa Joe, to some extent, who you said was the glue that held the match together, and that's true. He's kind of but it was also kind of the afterthought of the match, because he didn't get pinned,
Yeah.
he didn't go out on the stretcher, and he didn't destroy everybody like Braun did. So there's credence to the fact that Braun he's the guy. Roman can continue to go out there and be like, I'm not a good guy, I'm not the bad guy, I'm the guy, but Braun is the guy, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't even think he's going to win the title next month. I don't. But I do think that they are building everything to some degree. Not everything, but that main event scene around Braun. This match was exactly what the doctor ordered for SummerSlam. We've been, there's been a lot of good matches. There's been some mediocre stuff. This was the train wreck, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like in a good way. The train wreck we wanted to see. It was nothing but destruction from the word go. I loved it. My eyes, and the thing is, I put my tinfoil hat on because, earlier in the night, Seth and Dean came out in their red and black, and then Roman comes out in red and black, and I'm like, oh shit, here we go. Shield reunion, no more Shield 0.67. This is, it's coming. And I was like, and it gave you an extra reason, and I think it was intentional, by the way. It gave you an extra reason to get hype for what was going to happen. And so the whole match, my eyes are like wide open, like, all right, Winter Seth and Winter Dean coming down. to drop that double power bomb and hand that title to Roman Reigns, right? That's what I kept thinking. And it never happened. And that's cool. The match was awesome, guys. Match of the night, by far. I mean, maybe the Usos and New Day might have a tiny argument, but with the implications of the Universal title, it's hard to, really take away from that. So, match of the night, everybody came out looking really good, I thought. Braun Strowman, to me, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time, and it's not going to be too long before he is coronated as the guy in that company. It's just my opinion.
Yes, and guys, listening public, thank you. That was SummerSlam, but we are not done. We've got a little bit more for you. We're going to go over some of the best of what happened on Raw this week. Oh, also, before we get to Raw, shout out the Drifter, low-key, one of the biggest stars of the week. I loved what you did. But, hey, that's neither here nor there. Okay, so Raw starts off. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. Bog standard Paul Heyman promo. And then all of a sudden, Braun Strowman comes out. And I believe Brock Lesnar had a little bit of a look of fear in his eyes. To an extent.
When he came out, Brock said, off the mic, "Oh, fuck."
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Sweet. Sweet. And then
It's
Braun
just
Strowman.
it's just unfortunate that they didn't let him say it on mic. Like when he told Roman he didn't deserve shit, a couple weeks ago. So
Yeah. No, you can't say swear words on here unless you're a 15-year-old black boy, but that's whatever. I'm sorry to divert from there. Anyway, Braun Strowman comes out here, and pardon my language, I know I've been cursing quite a bit tonight, but whatever. I'm going to do a little bit more. Braun Strowman made Brock Lesnar his bitch. That is what happened here. And we later got confirmation that Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar is confirmed for No Mercy in late September. And I am excited.
So I'm kind of excited that we're doing Brock and Braun and No Mercy, but I'm kind of bummed too because I wanted the first.
France, real quick, I do want to say I'm bummed too because they seemingly are yet to return the No Mercy 2007 theme song, and I fucking love that theme song.
Oh my god, you had to put yourself over.
Sorry, just had to put that out there. I love it.
No, I wanted, I'm not one of those guys that every big match has to be a WrestleMania, but sometimes there are matches that just feel like WrestleMania, right? And Braun and Brock just feels like a WrestleMania match. So I'm kind of bummed that we're getting early, but those two together, man, amazing. I couldn't imagine a more interesting matchup, and I can't wait for it.
Carl?
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited for it. Guys, I was all in on the Roman wins the title, Shield gets back together, but hey, man, it's coming. We know it's happening. Okay, a little bit of foreshadowing, just didn't happen that night. And as I said before with SummerSlam, it feels like the WWE understands that Braun is like the guy right now. But with that being said, I like I said when we were reviewing SummerSlam, I don't think Braun's going to win the title. But God, I think it's going to be just an epic match. And Brock, he just seems rejuvenated, right? And like the other thing about it is, with all the news coming down with John Bones Jones,
he got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, Brock is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and so this is the perfect opportunity from now until the time his contract runs out to work with these guys and continue to make them look like $1 million. Because Brock, no matter what you want to say about him, he is a salesman and he is a great performer. Okay, I wish I got to see him more because of how good he is in those things. But when he's there, he is the man. Okay, there are two major draws in the WWE. One of them is Brock Lesnar. The other is John Cena. And Brock does everything right, in my opinion. So I'm really excited for Braun and Brock at No Mercy. I'll be having my eyes on the television no matter what. So let's just see what happens. Maybe they'll throw us another curve. Maybe Braun walks out the champ. Who knows? I don't see it happening, but you never know.
Yes, quite the rise for Braun Strowman. He debuted as a rosebud.
He did.
He used to be a spark. Oh my God.
Hey, let's run through these
actually,
last
we're not
ones
talking
real
about many
fast,
segments
yeah.
on this show, but we talked about the first segment. We're also going to talk about the second because Enzo had a match and Big Cass beat up Enzo, but then Big Cass took a tumble, and I knew on Impact, on first view, this looked bad.
Yeah.
I didn't know. This was like Big Cass is probably going to miss 6 to 9 months of action now. And this actually could be a blessing in disguise for Cass in that, in my opinion, he was kind of floundering. This will give him a chance to get rejuvenated when he comes back. And, get better. Colin Cassidy. Bill Morrissey. I'm still in Rance's gimmick. I'm using shoot names now.
Pew, pew, pew.
And, so, yeah, let's get your guys' thoughts on that.
Well, I just want to say, first of all, of course, we hate when anybody gets injured, obviously, regardless of where we feel. But I think it brings up a point here that a lot of people get upset that WWE doesn't build or create new stars to kind of take over. Like, when are we going to get the next Stone Cold? Or when are we going to get the next Hogan? When are we going to get the next Daniel Bryan?
All three of those guys
Here's the
are
thing.
at Dr. Andrews' office right now doing surgery.
But here's the thing. Like, these guys right now, WWE tries to build stars. A lot of them get hurt. Finn Balor, he got shot to the top, hurt, right? Big Cass, hurt. This shit happens. Seth Rollins, hurt. They get in the swing of things, they get hurt. And that happens. It's freak accidents. You can't predict these things. So it sucks. Big Cass, he was getting some real heel heat. And I don't know if it was disdain or if it was actual heat. I don't know. But I feel bad for him, because I hope that when he comes back, it rejuvenates him a little bit because he feels a little generic. And they didn't feel like they actually had a true direction because it was beat up Enzo every week. But now with the separation finally there with Enzo, moving on, hopefully when he comes back and get well soon, he'll be ready to go. And because I like Cass, I do. I think he's got the talent, and I think he's a big guy. So hopefully it'll work out for him.
Rest in peace to Big Cass's knee. He'll be back. You could tell when it was real, the way he was cussing as serious as he was. But he'll be back. He'll be fine. Move on.
Oh, wow. Okay. That was very short. But hey, we got one more thing to talk about from Raw. Kurt Angle announced that there was a big surprise superstar coming to Raw that we all knew was going to happen. And John Cena came out and he said he is here to face one man. He wants to fight one man. That one man preemptively comes out. It's Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns says, the big dog, Woof, says that you talk real tough over Twitter. And let's see you talk now. And John Cena responds, I ain't here to talk. And they're getting ready to go at it. They're going to have a little scuffle. And then all of a sudden, The Miz comes out. And by God, almost a year to the day that The Miz rejuvenated his career, he does it again. Great promo. And he tears into everybody. And I loved it.
If you've ever heard the Nas diss song Ether, this was like the wrestling version of Ether.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, let me drop a hashtag real quick. If you're listening to the SMC podcast, I have actually hashtagged this shit before. No Michael Cole. I don't give a fuck. Hashtag Miz for Universal Champion. This guy, the Miz is the best, guys. Like, fuck the wrestling just for a second,
Yes.
okay?
Miz is the best. Miz is the best. He's simply better than all the rest. That's all I got to say about that.
Remember when I told you guys earlier that I said Miz is the MVP, the most valuable player of Monday Night Raw? This is why, okay? Because he builds everyone up. It does not matter who he interacts with. He builds them up. If he needs Jason Jordan's lame, boring ass to come out there and beat him up a little bit, it's going to work. Miz makes it work. And to see him come out against the two, like John Cena, obviously, he's the GOAT of the company at this point in time.
Yes.
And Roman Reigns, who's the guy they're, other than, in my opinion, Braun Strowman, is another guy they're building this company around. To see him come out and just lay waste to these guys just goes to show how good he really is. And if you don't have an appreciation for this guy, considering where he came from, okay, remember where he came from and where he started to where he is right now, you are crazy. This guy is the best, and I can do nothing but praise on him. I am a Miz Mark. Miz and Neville, those two guys right now are like the hierarchy for me in wrestling.
You knew it was serious when he came out, and the first thing he said was, "So this is what a sold out Barclays looks like." I wouldn't know. You knew shit was real.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Man.
Go
But
ahead,
let's not before we move on, let's not forget to throw in the fact that Samoa Joe also made his presence known.
Yes,
And
he did.
Samoa Joe, Samoa Joe and Roman are gonna have this blood feud over who's the best Samoan probably for the next 10 years. But what's interesting to me was when Joe went to go talk to Cena, he threw the mic down and punched him in the face. And
Yes.
we all know Joe and Cena's background, where they grew up, they came up together in the wrestling. They were trained by the same guy with the same company. Cena used to eat at Joe's house every night with his family. And then Cena becomes the face of wrestling, basically. And Joe has to toil in Jeff Jarrett land for how many years.
Wow.
So
Got to get that shot in there.
well, he earned it. But I think that's gonna be an interesting dichotomy of where that goes, because I don't think Cena and Roman are gonna feud just as of right now, like starting now.
Sure.
I think it's gonna be Cena and Joe first before he moves on to Roman.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing, and Caleb, if you have something to say, go ahead after this real quick. That's the beauty of things like this. Cena and Joe have that background, right? And the guys that have that background, they're close. They have the best kind of chemistry.
Absolutely.
It's I don't know how many of you guys have seen, you guys both, I believe, have seen Glow on Netflix. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
The real life beef or the real life issues make for the best stories because
Absolutely.
they have the chemistry. And this is if this is the route they go, this is going to be awesome, guys, because these guys care about each other in real life. Let's not get it twisted. They give a shit about each other. And that's the kind of stuff that makes great feuds,
Yes.
because they're going to make it work because they give a shit about each other. They're going to care about the product and the quality in the ring.
Yes. I will say that I want to add to that. When friends fight, and Edge has brought this up on his pod before, and Christian has as well, and various other wrestlers have, when you're in there with a friend, you can throw potatoes around. You can, maybe lay in shots a little bit stiffer than you normally would because you and your friend know you don't mean anything by it. And I think generally, like you had said, that makes for the best stories. So, yeah, I am very excited to see it. No Mercy in general is going to be loaded if we get the suspected card. If we get, Braun and Brock is confirmed. Roman and Miz is suspected. Cena and Joe is suspected. If we get those three matches, I don't really care what else is on the card. I am invested.
And Shield .067 / the bar. The rematch will be there.
Rematch, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And hopefully the people in LA will not be as idiotic as the cucks in Brooklyn and throw a beach ball around.
Here's the problem with that, though. The fans in LA live close to the beach. So
Yeah.
there could be
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. Yep. So I think it's time we move on because that was Raw. That's
Yeah.
what we're going to talk about on Raw because we spent like a combined 2.5 hours on the big shows this weekend. Let's talk about SmackDown. Let's start off with we had a debut and a return. Bobby Roode, the previously mentioned
The
Bobby Roode,
glorious in and out of the ring, Bobby Roode.
made his debut against Aiden English, and he is a face now. And I feel like, and I
So
listened to other
fucking random.
podcasts this
So
week, and people
fucking
feel
random.
like the face run of Bobby Roode is short term, and I tend to agree. I think that's the case here. I don't see that being a long term thing, especially because the gimmick and the entrance, that whole thing just screams heel.
But
to me.
have you heard the rumor about what Vince said about him? Have you heard that yet?
No, what's the rumor?
So the
What's
rumor
and anything we know,
apparently
pal?
is that when Vince called up Bobby Roode, the reason he made him a face was because he knew the theme song was so over that they were going to treat him like a face anyway. So we went on and made him a face and said that if and when he turns heel, he might need to change his theme music because the music is so over.
Oh God, that would get so much heat.
So
So
what
much
you're
heat.
saying is Vince gets it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Of course, Rude has to eventually become a heel, right? Because
He does his
he's
best
so
work as a heel.
average and just kind of decent in the ring that he
You
kind of has to
motherfucker.
Yes, fair.
be.
Yeah. The mediocre workers are not meant to be baby faces.
I had to throw my shot in
Unless
at-
you're
at
Hulk
your
Hogan.
answer. Right.
So yeah, anyway, what else happened that night? Oh yeah, Kevin Owens. Oh, the return. Shelton Benjamin's back.
Oh, yay. I'm so excited.
Can you tell the sarcasm, y'all? He's being sarcastic. No, I'm happy
Well-
Sheldon's finally back because Sheldon is one of those guys that should have been a lifer. And, shit happens. He left. He can talk. He doesn't have a real character. But in that ring, that man is one of the best out there right now. So
Yep.
to see him,
Agreed.
for them to just basically say, oh, we'll replace one black guy with another black guy and hopefully nobody notices.
Oh,
That's hilarious.
dude. I saw this meme of it compared Chad Gable switching tag partners to Will Smith switching moms. And that just cracked me up.
Pretty much,
No,
we're
not
just gonna act like
moms. Aunts.
aunts, yeah.
Aunts.
And
Ants,
we're gonna act
pardon
like
me,
nobody. We're gonna act like nobody noticed.
Yeah.
But
So-
hold on, one more thing. This is the best thing that could have happened to Chad Gable because that tag team ain't gonna last long. Now Gable gonna actually get some TV time.
Yes. There's speaking of TV time, we're going to talk about the fact that Kevin Owens and AJ Styles was confirmed for this episode of SmackDown. And Kevin Owens even got a stipulation that he got to pick the ref. And he went to the one man he knew he could trust to do this and said, hey, do you want to be the ref and get some TV time? He said this to Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn said, no thanks, I'm good.
It's hilarious because when he said it to Sam, he was like it was completely heartfelt.
Well, he
sounded like he
No,
was
no,
being
no.
sincere, and then he comes to me like, well, I know you haven't been since you haven't been on the show often. You don't have anything to do. So since you don't,
Yeah.
would you like wow?
He acted, yeah, I love that. He acted like he was doing him a favor. And also, I do want to say this. This isn't about Sami Zayn, obviously. It was a small part, but it adds to the character. Like, oh, he passed up a big opportunity because he didn't want to,
Is,
go against his principles. I don't know.
Being a ref a big opportunity though?
It was an opportunity to be involved in a main event, and Kevin Owens kind of implied, hey, help me win this title. And he said no.
Here's the deal, guys. The WWE knows that a lot of people want Sami Zayn. And so when Kevin Owens jumps in and says, hey, you ain't got shit to do, it's a complete callback to us who are like, why doesn't Sami Zayn have anything to do?
Oh, you think this might be like a part of his long game of like build up that groundswell or anything, or is it just kind of
it could be, but I think it definitely goes to show that the WWE, no matter what we say, they hear us. Okay?
Yeah.
They hear us because if they
Absolutely.
didn't, they wouldn't call back to us so much with shit like that. You know what I'm
Absolutely
saying?
agreed.
So even if you are like the guy who's like, oh man, Sami Zayn's never gonna get an opportunity, they hear us. You know what I mean? And I'm not. That's not a shot at you, Caleb, because there are a lot
Oh,
of
it
people out
sounded
there
like
who
it,
feel
pal.
like that. It wasn't. It wasn't. Like that's real though. It really is. Like they
Yeah.
hear us. Okay, they do. And you know, if they didn't, they wouldn't have such a big social media presence, and they wouldn't promote dumb shit like the beach ball. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
they hear us. You know, so
Yeah.
I know guys like you who are a big Sami Zayn fan, continue to just. I'm telling you, man, the journey is what it's all about. It is
Oh,
going
yeah,
to
absolutely.
happen.
Yeah.
It is going, and when it does, you're going to be like, WWE is the greatest company. I love you so much. That's what's
Yep.
going to happen. I'm
Yep.
telling you.
Until
Oh,
you
man.
turn on him like you turn on Bobby Roode. Mother.
Well, I was never like a big Bobby Roode fan, and I don't even hate the guy now, but damn it, this ain't about Bobby Roode, and it's
I'm-
not even really about Sami Zayn.
I'm
This is
buying
about
both of y'all. I'm buying both of y'all Bobby Roode t-shirts tonight.
oh god,
I'll wear it.
I'll wear it. Get that new cartoon shit because I already have his Glorious shirt. But but anyway, Kevin Owens needed a ref. Fashion Police offered. He said no.
In their rompers, no
And,
doubt. In their rompers.
Yes, in their rompums, yeah. And Baron Corbin comes up and says, "I'll be your ref. You give me a title shot." Kevin Owens says, "Sure." And then they have the match, and the match is, you know, it was not their best effort. And there's a schmoz when AJ Styles like gets the calf kill. God damn it, calf move in on Kevin
Calf crusher,
Owens.
yes.
Yes, and Kevin Owens touches the rope. AJ Styles rolls him out, gets him back in the ring. Baron breaks up the hold because of whatever, and then they push each other. Baron does a couple of fast counts. Shane McMahon comes out, starts arguing with him. Kevin Owens hits a low blow on AJ Styles. He's about to win. Baron's about to count the 3 when Shane pulls Baron out. I thought Baron was going to hit Shane, which he, you know, whatever. Then he just takes his shirt off. And Lord knows that must have been really uncomfortable for Baron Corbin. But that's neither. I'm not judging either because I'm not a fucking GQ model. But but that being said, Kevin Owens gets into a tizzy because Shane's the ref again. I believe he eats a finisher if I'm not mistaken, and Kevin Owens loses. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles still your champion. Kevin Owens no longer allowed to compete for the U.S. title as long as AJ Styles is champion. That was SmackDown. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that real quick.
So we cool with AJ versus Corbin?
No, because Sami Zayn is riding the pine right now, so no.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Sammy needs
I'm
to stay on
fine
his
with-
pre-shows, and let's let the adults eat at the adult table.
Yeah, let's let the real talent wrestle, pal.
Well, the real talent is wrestling because his name is AJ Styles. But it was the perfect way to kind of separate AJ and Owens finally. And you know, we'll probably get Owens and Shane. I think that feels like it's going to happen. Corbin and Styles, you know, they set it up in a way to where you could have it. And I kind of I think this would be the opportunity because if you're de-pushing Baron from that world title scene, this is the opportunity to put that U.S. title on Corbin and bring AJ into the fold on the World Championship or the WWE Championship, whatever. You know what I mean? This seems like the kind of the ladder, the way to do it. And then eventually, maybe Sami Zayn finally gets a singles title in WWE. You know, he can, you know, go up against Corbin again or whatever. But I think, like I said before, I was thinking AJ's the one to take the title from Jinder. Hopefully, this is the way to get the belt off of him. You know what I mean? Because AJ, as good as he is, and he can bring prestige to that title, he's a world champion material. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Well, you're right, but you forget, maybe you did. AJ Styles says he's got that open challenge coming up. So
Well,
with
that's
that
fine
being
too.
said,
I mean, you can work that for a while. Tell him
Using
it's
an
still
open
a
challenge
minute away, isn't it?
yeah,
Right?
it's a few weeks away. Yeah.
So you can work that for a while, you know, and still have
Yeah.
that and showcase some other guys.
Yeah. But
So
SmackDown. We're about to bring this home. I know we're going to talk about Asuka. Let's talk about Asuka. Okay. Part of me, like we had mentioned, I think this injury is somewhere between work and shoot. I don't think it's nearly as bad as people say. Her being vacated of the title is a blessing in disguise because now she can go up to the main roster, as Regal apparently alludes to in NXT, with her streak intact. And that's awesome, in my opinion. That is awesome. Someone is able to... I mean, she has surpassed everything at this point. As far as streaks in wrestling go, she has... Pardon me. She surpassed Goldberg's streak. And that was yes, that was the benchmark. I'm curious to see how long this goes. Honestly, if they wanted, they could get another whole year and a half out of this if they wanted. Now, your interest is going to go to a certain point, but that's whatever. But
no event. She's got a job on her first night.
Some have said she's going to lose to Dana Brooke in 10 minutes on Raw. And that cracks me up.
The shock wouldn't be her losing. The shock would be her and Dana Brooke getting 10 minutes. That'd be the shock.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I think is probably going to happen. Okay, so if you watch the pre-show, and I know, Rance, you missed some of this. If you watch the pre-show, they had Sasha Banks on, okay? And while Sasha Banks was on the panel, during whatever she was talking, I believe it was, I don't know who was on the panel with her. I think maybe Renee for sure. I think Jerry, and I guess it was Corey, but they brought up Asuka, okay, and they brought up her undefeated streak, and Sasha, being Sasha, was basically saying, well, she's only undefeated because I'm not in NXT anymore. Those were her words.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and watch it, you'll hear those words come out of her mouth. And so, if with Asuka relinquishing the women's NXT championship, as we know, due to the injury, and being in negotiations, as it were, with Raw or SmackDown, whatever the fuck that means, it's built. She can literally come right in, undefeated, and say, hey, nobody can fucking beat me in NXT. And here's this WWE Women's Champion on Raw telling me that I wouldn't be undefeated if she was there. Let's go. Let's find out. The feud is built. Okay? It's there. If you want to use it. And honestly, if I were them, that's where I would go right off the bat. I'm not even kidding. I know it sounds crazy, but this isn't the WWE Championship or the Universal Championship. We're not going to get as mad if someone like Asuka comes in and takes the title immediately, are we?
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
No, especially not the way she was built up, because if Finn had wrestled almost every night and didn't lose for almost 3 years, y'all wouldn't care as much of him being pushed the way he was either.
Absolutely.
But I would argue that I'd like to see her go on SmackDown, because while she has a ready-made feud with Sasha Banks, she also has one with Becky Lynch, because in the TakeOver match, she put Becky in the disarmer right in front of Becky, and if she could talk English, I'm pretty sure she would have said, "Bitch, do something about it." So, but that's the beauty of it. She can go anywhere.
That's kind of why I felt like the collarbone injury might have been a bit of a shoot, because of the fact when just going through and watching, and I don't, sometimes you got to catch subtle things, and maybe I'm reading too much into it. But when you watch, like I said, when you watch the pre-show the night after TakeOver, Sasha's talking that shit. You know what I'm saying? It feels like something that could work. But then again, also thought that Seth, Dean, and Roman all wearing red and black was going to mean the Shield was coming out on SummerSlam. So, fuck, I could be wrong.
Caleb, any last thoughts?
I'm ready for Asuka on the main roster whenever that should be. Now, I know we've been at this for a while. Like, we started this around 8. It's almost midnight. I know we're about to bring this home. And real quick, I do want to say, if you can allow me just 2 minutes, Rance, that's all I need.
2 full minutes?
Is that okay? Maybe a little bit more, but whatever.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a nap real quick. Wake me up when you're done.
All right. So, this week on Impact, GFW needed a new champion. So they had a gauntlet for the gold. And they started off this is a 20-man gauntlet, Royal Rumble style. The final two, it comes down to pin or submission. Start off the match with Eddie Edwards and 1, Eli Drake, 1 and 2.
That's
They
a
make
fact of
it
life.
the distance. That is a fact of life. And if you don't believe it, you're a dummy. Yeah. And anyway, okay. They Bulldog and Shawn Michaels this. They come down to them being the final two as well. And GFW did something that kind of surprises me. They actually put the belt on a guy that he's very well liked, although the crowd reaction when he won might say otherwise, because it was a little bit of apathy. Maybe the crowd was tired or some shit. I don't know. Whatever. Because they were doing his gimmicks throughout the match, too. They were doing the Eli Drake thing as well. And Eli Drake is your new GFW Global Champion. I am excited. And if you're not, that makes you a dummy. Yeah.
So when Eli Drake gets an apathetic reaction from the crowd, you're excited.
Yep.
But when Jinder Mahal gets an apathetic reaction, which he didn't, but when he did, oh, fuck this guy.
Okay, well,
number 1 ND, number 3 R.
Here's the reality of the situation. Eli Drake, unlike Jinder Mahal, has been built to possibly be your champion since last November. Okay, this is not something that happened in the span of 6 weeks. This happened in 8 months. Okay, and that was like I said, this apathy, that was a fluke, because 9 times out of 10, the crowd fucking loses it for this guy.
But how is that a fluke, though? I mean, these guys, like, how is it a fluke? Seriously, like, I just don't understand that. Like, if the crowd is always hot for him,
Carl, if you are driving to work, if you drive to work 10 times, 9 times you make it to work safe. The 10th time, you you blow out a tire or some shit. Is that blowout? Is that a common occurrence, or is that maybe a fluke?
Right, it could be a fluke, but we're not talking about driving my car to work, right? We're talking about a guy who is supposedly over. If he's over now, why isn't he over all the time? Like, where do they film all these shows?
Same place they've been doing for 15 years.
Yeah, they film it at the Impact Zone in Orlando.
Oh, so do you think the fans that go are the same guys who go every fucking week? So why is it this week they decided, you know what? Meh. Please.
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, okay, this would have more credence if they weren't fucking popping for the guy throughout the whole match. If they weren't doing his gimmick throughout the whole match, I would, be on board with what you're saying. But that's not what happened.
But could it possibly be that they like him, they just don't want him to be champ? Because to your point, they responded to him in every other spot except for when he won.
You're not wrong, but at the same time, I don't know. It also doesn't help that Eli Drake's finish doesn't look like a finish, so I don't know.
Well, Jinder Mahal's finish doesn't look like a finish to you, but you make excuses to hate him, and so you know what, Carl? Every time we need to type Eli Drake's name like 5 times a day on Twitter with the 3 and a 1.
I'm down. Yep.
You guys don't type Eli Drake.
3L1 Drake.
You guys don't type Eli Drake ever, so it doesn't matter.
We're gonna start.
Why would you start if you're just gonna? This doesn't make sense.
Caleb, listen to me right now. The very first tweet that will happen after this podcast is posted to the world is going to be 3L1 DRAK 3. Just so you know.
Okay. You guys are out. I just wanted to put over Impact, and you guys are out here trying to make me look bad, and I don't appreciate that, man.
I'm burying it, pal.
Yeah, you're burying me, and I don't like it. And you know what? You're burying it, and that makes you a dummy. Yeah, and that is not an insult. That is just a fact of life.
It's been tweeted, sir.
Yes, Rance. Can we get our Twitter handles in before we go?
Please do. You want me to go first?
Okay. Yes, I would like to. Everyone who's listening, thank you. If you are still listening, I know we've been at this for a while. We appreciate you listening to this, the debut episode. You guys have no idea how fucking excited I was to record this, man. I don't care that it's taken us nearly 4 hours to do so. Please follow the podcast at the SMC Podcast. Believe in the pod as well. Please follow me at RealCalB54. I'll send out some tweets. They might be controversial, or you might agree with them. I don't know. Everyone listening, like I said, thank you. And from me, have a good night. Carl, what do you got for us?
Yeah, honestly, guys, we have been working so hard to get this off the ground. We've put in a lot of work, and this is going to be probably the longest episode of all the episodes we've pre-recorded and the stuff we've canned for you guys later down the road. We've been working our ass off for this, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If it goes too long, I understand we had a lot to cover. And it won't be like this all the time. Okay, we're gonna usually,
expect the big 4 episodes to be
absolutely
long like this. But
absolutely, but during a regular time period, when SummerSlam or WrestleMania isn't going on, we're gonna hit on some things. We're not gonna be forever. Okay. With that being said, once again, thank you so much to everybody who helped make this happen. Follow us at the SMC Podcast, as Caleb said. It doesn't take much. You just go check us out. Hit that follow button. Make it simple. We'll tweet about stuff. We're going to throw up some polls and surveys and stuff like that to keep it interactive.
Also, I would like to say, I can't believe I forgot to get this out there. Please subscribe to the podcast. We are on the One Nation radio feed. Look up whatever podcast app you use, whether it's iTunes or Google Podcast, Podcast Addict, Stitcher, whatever you use. Look up One Nation Radio. Our episodes will pop up on there.
Absolutely. And, with me, guys, my name is Carl. I write on the lordsofpain.net main page. Hopefully, as time goes on, I'll be able to get some play on the main page of that website as well and get us featured on there. We're going to be trying to do as much as we can to get this out to everybody. Like I said before, this is a big deal for us. We've been working really hard to get it done. For me personally, you can follow me at KERVINSMC. I'm going to be on there talking shit to Caleb and Rance all the time. So that's what I do. And once again, guys, thanks for everything. We're so glad we could finally bring this to everybody. Rance, send us home.
Just want to continue to remind you guys that every podcast will not be this long. We understand, but still we appreciate you listening. You can follow your boy at It's Ray Cash, REY as in Mysterio, CASH as in dollars. And we want to thank you for listening to the debut issue. We love you guys. Unless you like Natalia, then I tolerate you. Nonetheless, have a great night. Goodbye and good night.